Family Furniture. We got Kevin Keathley to my right. I'm Darryl McCoy, and we got Jason Norman sitting in the maestro's seat there. Jason, if you want to give the fans a quick wave to the camera there. As Coach, the M&M Family Furniture, this is become the home of the grind session. And look, when you see, beautiful furniture, look, this ain't that fake wood. This is real wood. M&M Family Furniture is where you can go to get all your furniture, whether it's living rooms, dinette suites, bedroom suites, and more. You can get them right here, Coach, and at the best price.
Darryl McCoy, when you're hitting I-23 and you're passing through Ivell, Kentucky, heading on up to Pikeville, Kentucky, guess what? You're hitting the thriving metropolis of Harrell, Kentucky. And, that means M&M Family Furniture. And as Darryl McCoy said, this is kind of becoming the home, the new home of the grind session, the D&D Sports Network. So, we feel really good here. And, you get the best of the best here when you talk about love seats, couches, recliners, tables. They got it all here. Willie Mead's going to treat you right. Darryl McCoy, before we went on the air, I'm talking to Storm and Norman, and we're talking a little bit about pro wrestling and Wildfire Tommy Rich and all those good guys and all those guys from back in the day. And it just brought up Brooke Hogan, and it brought up a great memory. A lot of people don't know this. Maybe this is the first time I ever talked about it on the ground session, but when I lived in Florida, one of my many stops in Florida, by the way, because I moved around quite a bit growing up, I lived across the street from Hulk Hogan.
Oh, wow.
Yes, indeed. And people didn't believe that back in the day.
Clearwater, Florida.
Well, he lived on Madeira Beach at the time.
Okay.
He lived on the beach. I lived across the street. And when I came back to Kentucky, people didn't believe it because this is pre-internet era, right?
Yeah.
Venice Beach, California is where he's from.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have no clue. But Brooke Hogan brought up a great memory. He used to carry Brooke Hogan when she was a little bitty, tiny baby on his shoulders and walk her to the 7-Eleven back and forth. And he was just, you could tell he was a great dad then. He'd be working on his motorcycles and all that. And it was just an unbelievable deal to me because I was – people know this around here too. I was a crazy Hulkamaniac. So this is during the apex days of his popularity, and but it just he brought up getting to see Brooke Hogan, and a lot of people may not know that I did indeed live across the street from the Hulkster for about 3 months.
How about that story? Yeah. I know Jason just went down to the Hulkamania store.
Yeah, beach shop.
Yeah, no, man. Everybody knows who Hulk Hogan is. And, seeing Brooke Hogan walk across the parking lot, I thought she was still in Florida. Yeah. And then when she walked in the door, you don't see many 6-foot-plus tall blondes. I mean, she's really recognizable. So
we got a couple people tuning in already. Caitlin Keathley says her and Braxton are watching from Texas Roadhouse.
Okay, yeah.
Lewis Ratliff says, "What's up? Glad to see you guys back on." So Lewis, it's glad to have you back on. If you got questions or comments, stick around with us all night as we got a lot of people flooding in here. Coach, this is kind of the end of summer grind session countdown here as we're going to talk a load of stuff that we've seen this summer. I think we've seen about every team in action.
Yeah.
So if there's anybody can speak on it, it's us. We're going to talk girls basketball, college, a lot more. First, I want to bring up the submarine story.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of took the summer by storm. It's been the story of the summer. It's a situation, Coach, that it's mind-blowing when you get into the details. I watched a video last night of the actual inside of it and a guy that went down in it. And they literally bolt you in there. Yeah. And there's no way out. No. And me, I'm claustrophobic. I mean, the ocean is one of my biggest. It's one of my biggest fears is the ocean, and to be able to be locked in, going down there, 5 guys in a machine that's probably as big as 2 of these tables right here, long, and not only that, you're a billionaires that's going down there. I mean, you spent your whole life to become a billionaire, and you want to go down and see the Titanic. Now, not to mention that this thing was only certified for 1,300 feet.
Right.
But you're saying 4,000 feet. Think of that.
Darryl McCoy, it's a very sad, tragic story. But like you said, it's one of you talked about this a little bit.
Yeah.
It's one of my biggest fears as well. I'm absolutely claustrophobic, especially when it comes to the ocean. And I know I just talked about I used to live right up there on the beach, but I would always become overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It would literally take my breath as I walked out on that pier. The further I go, the more just just literally, the film.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know the film I'm talking about, and it overcomes you. I just don't. Again, I think sometimes people believe it can't happen to them.
Yep.
And I think sometimes the more that you have, the more that you accumulate in life, and the success you have, I think sometimes you think you become a little invincible. And I think, sadly, there's no way I'm getting in that device, that whatever. Like you said, it was just basically a steel contraption.
I'm not kidding, Coach, and this is God's honest truth. When I sit in my wife's car, she's got it's an older model Mercedes. When I sit in her car, I get claustrophobic. If I get in a roller coaster seat, right, I get claustrophobic. There's no way you could get me to go down in that submarine. In anything, that's I wouldn't even do it in a lake, because you're bolted in there, and if something starts leaking, you're not going to be able to get out. So, I mean, there's too many things that could have went wrong there. And if you looked how the thing was controlled with a video game controller,
yes.
I mean, who comes up with that? Well, it better be the U.S. Navy taking me down if I ever even thought about it. But that would never cross my mind to want to go down there. I mean, listen, and when you take a look, the Titanic, the story behind the Titanic,
right.
I mean, that's enough for me alone not to want to take a chance to go down there, because, I mean, them guys, that was the Titanic. It sunk to them depths. Leave it alone.
Right.
Like, it ain't meant to come out.
Right.
I wonder one day if they will, like, somehow go down, hook chains and bring it up or whatever. I don't know if that's ever going to be an option.
Yeah.
To maybe get people to quit trying to go down there, to it or something. But I mean, you just take the story alone and the tragedy of the Titanic. That's enough to make me not want to go down there. I mean, I want nothing to do with the Titanic.
No, absolutely. Like, unbelievable tragedy. And then to come to find out that the U.S. Navy had known 3-4 days prior, they were having a search mission. Everybody's saying, look, we're trying to find these individuals. Hopefully they're still alive. But to come to find out, the U.S. Navy knew Sunday night, the very moment it happened, that it had combusted. It had exploded. And that's another part of the story that kind of interesting to it.
Yeah, that they waited that long to let people know, you know, and you would like to think they let their families know. I don't know if they did or they didn't, but I mean, it's just a tough situation, man. And and as a family member, I mean, you're sitting there knowing they got 96 hours of life. You're literally got to count down to the death of your loved one. Right. I mean, that's just a tough spot to be in. I don't know, man. That's a very sad situation. Lewis Ratliff says, Jason, go to California, you see a lot of 6-foot blonde women. Well, the only one I see around here is Macy Maynard's mom. Her name's Brandy Maynard. She's only 6 foot. Jenna Sparks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that gets us, Coach, a lot going on the University of Kentucky this summer.
A lot.
Yeah, a whole lot. You got Kel Crowdish just got a DUI. Now, that blows my mind, because that's becoming an every summer, event with this UK football team. I mean, it seems like every summer there's a DUI. Stoops, listen, at the end of the day, Stoops is a legend. And I'm never going to be one to question him. I think that Stoops is the one that, he's the coach that we need here. But at the end of the day, they got to do better with this DUI stuff, because it's happening every single summer. There's at least one that we know about. If you're finding out about one, there's probably 2 or 3 more happening. Right.
Well, you nailed it, and you said something the other day. It seems a trend with the University of Kentucky football program. And yeah, I get it when you're trying to monitor 100+ athletes. It's different than monitoring 12 to 15 on a basketball team, but still, you've got how many assistant coaches with the football program, support staff, administrative support staff, student assistants. There's people that can oversee that and make sure kids are doing the right thing. I think you're right, Darryl. There needs to be more of a kind of a hold, get a grip on what's going on the weekends, what these kids are doing, student athletes are doing when they leave campus, so that this doesn't continue to hurt the program.
I mean, get them a Uber or a dorm car that is nothing but. I mean, I'm sure some UK fan would gladly say, okay, on the weekends I'm your ride.
Right.
And have them have like a car just for the football players, a Tahoe or something, to take them back and forth wherever they need to go on the weekends. It's that simple, and I really hope that Mark Stoops makes an example out of Dakel Crowdis. As a UK fan, I hate that because Dakel Crowdis is going to be a huge part to our wide receiver core. Right. But at the end of the day, something has to be done, and you have to make a huge example out of this kid. Yeah. I don't know what it is, and I even half a season I'd be for.
Right. Well, I agree with you. Again, you go back to DUIs and Coach Bobby Huggins, and I mean, he's gone after a DUI, and obviously that wasn't his only transgression over the last year, but again, I mean, you have to set an example, a firm example for the student athletes, and not only that, but again, they're the role models of the University of Kentucky, the Commonwealth of Kentucky. They're the role models. They live in a glass house, so expectations, accountability is higher. So you've got to hold them to a higher standard.
What do you think about Bob Huggins, his daughter coming out and defending his actions?
Well, listen, she's doing what a daughter should be doing, right? Loyalty. We're a big believer in that. Loyalty, family, togetherness. She's going to back her father. Listen, anybody that knows Coach Bobby Huggins personally knows that man is a genuinely good man. Is he tough? Is he hard? Can he be a quote-unquote, and listen, he'll tell you that. Can he be a prick? You better believe it. But he's a good man, and I wouldn't expect anything less from a Coach Huggins' daughter.
Yeah, I mean, I've met Bob Huggins. I would go as far as to where, he would know my name if I seen him. I mean, I've dealt with him that many times, throughout the D&D era. But, and I hate to see it happen to him, but for his daughters, the statements that come out, just it made it irrelevant because some of the facts that's in it, there was no way you could defend him. I mean, when you looked at the police report and, the man thought he was in Columbus, Ohio. I mean, that's a big difference, and I think that, with DUIs, anytime you get caught with a DUI, you've probably got away with 20 other DUIs. Right. So, it's something that it had to be done. I don't blame West Virginia, especially with the stuff that come out earlier this summer. I hate it for Huggins. I hope that, I hope he goes to rehab, he gets the help he needs, and he gets to come back and finish off his Hall of Fame career in the right way somewhere.
Yeah, I agree. I'd love for Coach Huggins to continue his coaching career, and I'm sure that he'll take this time to relax, kind of figure out what he wants to do. You never know. Maybe be a color commentator, ESPN, Fox Sports, wherever the case may be. But hopefully he ends it how he wants to end it because, as you said, it's a Hall of Fame career, and it's been one that he has helped a lot of student athletes and done a lot of good stuff for the universities he's been involved with.
Yeah, and it's a situation on the UK campus, they've had too many of their coaches get caught too. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not just the players, it's the coaches. There is a problem there in Lexington with that, and they've got to clean that up. Yeah. So as we got a few comments coming in, Lewis Ratliff says the NCAA needs to keep the marijuana testing along with alcohol testing and give coaches more interaction with players over the summer. Says if a coach gets a DUI, he should be fired, no question, Lewis Ratliff says. Cross Taylor tuning in says, what's up, guys? I'm sure Cross is taking a charge somewhere out there. Yeah, he's and then David Tiny Cottle says, best network in the business, best announcers in the business, D&D Sports is the best.
Yes, sir.
So, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Jason's forcing us to go to break here. When we come back, we're going to talk some more college stuff. We're going to get to high school stuff. We're going to give you who we think are the top teams in the mountains. Way too early rankings coming up. We also got a lot of news coming from some transfer rumors. They've been a lot of stuff go on. You guys can catch it all right here on the Grind Session coming up in just a bit. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for a great selection and a great experience for your next Harley-Davidson, come on down to Mountain State Harley-Davidson here in Del Barton, West Virginia.
We have new 2023 models in stock and ready for delivery. Special financing available.
Or choose pre-owned with one of the largest inventories in the tri-state area with great low prices.
Visit our showroom filled with licensed Harley-Davidson apparel and more.
Don't write that check until you check with us, Mountain State Harley-Davidson, 61 Priest Bottom Road, or visit us online at mountainstatehd.com.
Looking for a great selection, great prices, and a great experience on your next ATV, motorcycle, or side-by-side? Come check out Keefer's Kawasaki.
Our number one goal is to offer you the best power sport experience at a great price.
Like this new 23 Kawasaki Teryx 4 for only $17,999.
Before you write that check with us.
And remember, your adventure starts here at Keefer Kawasaki. Route 44 South, Jerry West Highway in Logan, or visit KeefersPowersports.net.
Looking for a new pharmacy? Howard Family Pharmacy offers fast and friendly service and convenient drive-thrus at both locations.
If you're wanting to guarantee your loved ones took care of after their passing, come to Nelson Frazier Funeral Home in Martin, Kentucky. At Nelson Frazier, we guarantee that you can grieve in peace and not have to worry about the financial stressors of paying for a high-cost funeral. Nelson Frazier Funeral Home. Our family, caring for your family. All right, guys, we're back here. M&M Family Furniture in Harold, Kentucky. Kevin Keathley, Darryl McCoy, Jason Norman on the boards. M&M Family Furniture right now, financing available, Coach. They got mattresses. They got your dining room suites. They got love seats. I actually got that that furniture. Actually, Jason come here before he started working with D&D. He come here because of D&D.
Right.
He seen the M&M Family Furniture on D&D Sports Network. He called, asked where it was located, and I didn't know it, but Willie Meade told me. He said a guy named Jason Norman come and bought a couch from us.
Right.
So, I mean, it's the only place to go if you're looking for furniture. The thing I like about M&M Family Furniture is when you walk in here, most furniture stores, they're like, okay, we can get that in 6 weeks. You can buy anything you see in here and leave with that day.
Absolutely, and this is absolutely a perfect marriage. When you talk about D&D Sports and you talk about M&M Family Furniture, listen, you talk about a partnership going on. I think as long as the grind session's been rolling here, you're talking about season 4 going into season 5 come November. Listen, perfect partnership marriage. Listen, one thing. Everybody knows now where M&M Family Furniture is.
Yep.
They're the big dogs. It ain't the other guys on up at Coal Run. M&M Family Furniture is the big dogs. And D&D Sports Network, had a hand in that. And guess what? M&M Family Furniture's had a hand in helping progress the D&D sports movement with helping student athletes and kids have a platform.
Them big box stores ain't going to buy or ain't going to help your kids' local youth team. I mean, only M&M Family Furniture is doing stuff like that. So as we're moving on here, we see Jonathan Patrick from Hornet Pride Radio tuning in. Coach, as we talked about the Huggins situation, well, UK benefited from it because today they landed Trey Mitchell, who is a grad transfer and was a much-needed piece to the puzzle. Now, all of a sudden, this UK roster looks a lot more sexier.
It's looking much better. You talk about Trey Mitchell. You talk about Reeves. You talk about addition after addition. Listen, just hold your horses a little bit. Let this process play out. You never know who's going to fall in to Coach Calipari's lap or hands, so to speak. Trey Mitchell, by the way, Darryl McCoy, has dropped 60 pounds since his time at West Virginia.
Yep.
So he's a totally different player, and he has big-time hands, big-time footwork. This kid's going to be a nice addition to this program.
The last guy we got from West Virginia turned out pretty well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So and listen, at the end of the day, this ain't going to be the last piece to the puzzle. There's going to be another piece come soon. So keep your eye out in Lexington, folks. So as we're sitting here going on, and right now, let's before we go off the UK thing, and then we'll leave UK alone because I know a lot of people are wanting to know high school basketball news coming up. So, but right now, the way that you're seeing the roster, how do you think UK will fare next year with the roster, the way it's constructed with Trey Mitchell?
I think what's going to be really important is how does the veteran – we talked about this on one of the last grind sessions. We said there's going to be a who controls the locker room and how does that melting pot of freshmen, older kids come together. I think a lot's going to depend on the chemistry in that locker room and behind the scenes, because again, if things aren't gelling behind the scenes, then you're going to have guys upset over playing time. You're going to have guys immediately want to transfer. All of a sudden, there's a ankle injury that extends out till March. You got
upset
things
over NIL.
Yes.
And speaking of ankle injury, that brings up another thing. How do you think that right now with Bradshaw and the way Clutch Sports have come out with an ankle injury, when we seen him in the father-son camp and he looked healthy, what do you make of Clutch Sports right now? And their players hasn't fared well in Lexington.
They haven't fared well, and Clutch Sports, they're saying, we're going to look over our guy because that's the bottom dollar.
Yep.
They're getting paid. They're going to get their percentage of what they get when it's time for draft day and those contracts come out. Clutch is looking out for Clutch. Make no mistake about it. They're not looking out for Kentucky. And at the end of the day, sometimes I think they're overlooking the young man that they're representing. And what I'm hearing, though, Darryl, and maybe you've heard more lately, is he's saying he's going to be cleared soon.
If he's saying that, then that's good news. I hope that's the situation, because if Bradshaw's healthy, this Kentucky team's a completely different roster, because he is a D-O-double-G.
Yes.
So I really hope it comes, to where, Clutch put some early reports out, and that may have not have been the situation. They may have, got whatever they was trying to push, that narrative, pushed, and now hopefully they let him alone and let him play.
Right. I agree.
So as we're, Lewis, as we'll read some of your comments in a minute here, but first, Coach, I don't know if you've seen, but I've seen, Matt Jones. I know he's a hot spot. Coach is not a big fan of Matt Jones, not always, but, the other day they was talking Mount Rushmore of UK players, or UK figures in UK athletics.
Right.
The Mount Rushmore.
Right.
And they brought up, I think he said Tim Couch. They brought up Rupp.
Yeah.
They brought up, I'm pretty sure he may have said Calipari, K. Wood Lefford.
Yeah.
And Dan Issel was the fifth one.
Right.
But he wouldn't put Dan Issel because he made the comment that he couldn't put 5 white guys.
Yeah.
Now, that situation, and I think that's why people get aggravated with him as a liberal, because why can't you? That'd be just like you could put 5 black guys.
Right.
If they earned it, they earned it.
Right.
And race shouldn't have anything to do with it. But for them comments to come up, did it surprise you that he made them comments?
I tell you what, Matt Jones is kind of becoming the David Letterman of sports talk, especially in Kentucky. David Letterman, one of my all-time favorite hosts, would not miss it on the late night. Creative, innovative, just created his own niche in late night talk. But as he got older, he became more and more liberal, and he invoked his ideology into his programming, which started turning people off from David Letterman. I think sometimes Matt Jones was becoming the David Letterman of independent sports talk, because it's becoming more and more where he's invoking his thoughts, his beliefs, into sometimes it's just simple cut and dry, like you said there. It can be 5 white guys. It can be 3 black guys, 2 white guys. But
it can be 5 black guys.
Yes, exactly. So I agree. It don't necessarily surprise me that Matt would kind of pause and be like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We need to add an African American to that Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, it blew my mind, at the end of the day, if you think Dan Issel was the guy, then Dan Issel needs to be the guy. If you think Anthony Davis is the guy, Anthony Davis should be the guy.
Right.
But, it really blew my mind. But, and don't get me wrong, listen, I'm a huge Matt Jones fan. I call him a friend. He's a mentor. Matt has really helped me with the D&D Sports. We wouldn't be where we're at if it wasn't for Matt Jones, Ryan Lemon. They really helped mentor along the way. But some of the stuff that's coming out, it does make you think, especially as an Eastern Kentuckian, and as me, I'm a Republican.
Right.
You know, I mean, I'm diehard Republican. I come from the coal fields, so we don't see eye to eye in that situation. You know, some of the bigger situations I get aggravated at him at is when, you know, you'll have fans call in and they'll ask him situations like on the swimmer, the male swimmer competing in female situations, he won't compete, and not only will he not say his thoughts on that subject, but he'll degrade the caller for bringing it up. But yet he'll turn around 2 seconds later and promote a drag brunch at his bar. So I mean, you know, how can you promote that and down somebody for bringing up the conversation? I mean, just say your thoughts on the conversation. If you're obviously everybody knows what your thoughts are because you're having the drag brunches, you know. And listen, it's a business. He's got a business to run. And if that's what he wants to do, that's fine.
Exactly.
You know, I don't. You know, either way, the only thing, like, I don't care about the drag brunches if that's what you want to do, but the situation about the swimmers, though, I mean, I don't see how anybody could agree with that.
Yeah. Well, and then listen, just rewind a little bit on Mount Rushmore. Listen, you talk about, well, we got to maybe, you know, you Rupp, no doubt, Coach Pitino, no doubt. You talk about maybe Tim Couch. You talk about Coach Calipari. But listen, you talk about somebody just as important as Coach Pitino. He changed the trajectory of Kentucky basketball. Jamal Mashburn.
Yeah, that was when the Mount Rushmore come out. You know, it was obviously, I think Tim Couch should be on it. You know, I think that, you know, I think Adolph Rupp should be on it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
He's the centerpiece.
That's it. You know, I can make an argument for K. Wood Lefford.
Yes, you can.
You know, listen, I mean, the way that he's going, you asked me this 5 years from now, Mark Stoops and Mitch Barnhart might be on there. You know, because you taking a look at what Kentucky's done under Mitch Barnhart, you know, it could be a situation they're on it. But you got to have basketball guys. Me, myself, you know, I would put – that's tough, man. I'm a Pitino guy, but I think Calipari, even though Pitino – yeah, I would probably go Calipari because of the longevity. Right. You know, even though he's had these bad years, you know, but we did have a couple rock star years under him. Then I would probably, when it comes to players, I mean, it would be Mashburn or AD. You know, would be my two players. Maybe Issel, you know, the older folks could make an argument for Issel, but, you know, I would probably go Mashburn or AD.
Does Kentucky basketball, when Dan Issel's around, right, does Kentucky basketball continue to click and continue to thrive? I think that's what you ask yourself. Dan Issel, no doubt's the statue of, you know, I think people consider him the greatest player of all time, or top 2 or 3, Dan Issel. But most important figures, I don't think there's any question that Jamal Mashburn's imprint and importance to the Kentucky program meant more than Dan Issel's. Don't jump on me, ladies and gentlemen, but if you were around during that time, you would understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they also, you know, before, and this will be the last I speak on this subject right now, is and then we'll get to some high school stuff, but what do you think about the big men being took out of the game of basketball? I mean, you had no Oscar, no Salongo, no Drew Timme. Yeah, I mean, you had 3 of the best, actually 4 of the best players, probably top 10 in college with centers, and none of them got drafted, Coach.
Yeah, it's a different game, but I'll say this. The guys that are playing, and you're saying, well, no centers. Well, here's the deal with Oscar. Oscar's not being able to evolve his game. You say, well, wait a minute. Sometimes you don't need to evolve your game. Maybe it's just going and getting rebounds and knocking people around. Yeah, but at the end of the day, you also still have to be able to guard those centers that can knock you back, that can step out and shoot that 3 ball, that can step out and put it on the deck. And I think that's the problem that Oscar runs into, is he's kind of that one-dimensional guy, whereas those other guys are two-dimensional, three-dimensional, and sometimes, four-dimensional. They can do a lot of different things where Oscar's kind of pigeonholed. Do I think that he's going to evolve at Indiana? I do. I think he's going to do a great job playing for the Fort Wayne Mad Ants, and I think he'll improve, especially when it comes to the speed of the game.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, I think we showed this year that with Nikolai Jokic that big guys, can have a spot and a key spot.
Yeah.
But I personally I hate the way the game's going.
Right.
I do. I'd rather go back to having a couple bigs, have a true front court, and play, because I think the game is nearly unwatchable today. I do. It's so hard for me to watch a ball game, especially the one-on-one stuff. Now Golden State, they're a different breed. I can watch them and have fun watching them, but as far as most of them, I don't like it. I don't enjoy the NBA. Now, when playoffs start, of course, I'll watch any of it when playoffs start. But I really wish and I hope the game goes back full circle to where the big man can be useful, because it's sad to see great college players like that go undrafted. I think Drew Timme, I think that he could make a roster somewhere. Guy could stretch the floor. He could put the ball on the floor. He could do a lot of stuff, and he would have been a premier piece, 15 years ago, but now he goes undrafted.
Well, make no mistake about it, all those guys are going to play in the NBA. They didn't get two-way deals if they didn't plan on playing them in the NBA. They just saying, you know what, we know there's areas they got to improve on, and we can put them down with the Fort Wayne Mad Ants or where the case may be to improve. But I'll say this again one more time. I think it's more so that those bigs kind of, maybe whether it's coaching or whether it's just where they're at, they never evolved through the game to where, they can hang and bang down low, but maybe they can't guard up top. Maybe they can't shoot that three ball how they need to. So it's kind of, maybe it's on them as well, because the fives are now, I can do that, but guess what? I can do you one better. I can play up top and make plays happen. So I think they need to evolve their game.
All right, guys, get your questions, comments coming in as we are live here at M&M Family Furniture. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get to the high school news around the area. Come right back and join us here on the Grind Session live from Harold, Kentucky at M&M Family Furniture. Huff Drug is now open. If you're looking for somebody to take care of all your pharmaceutical needs, we are your guy. Huff Drug, accepting new patients and most insurances. We have a drive-through for your convenience. If you want a pharmacy that not only cares about you, but your community, come see us at Huff Drug, located at the foot of Walmart Hill in Prestonsburg, Kentucky.
Hi, everybody. Dave Baker here for Citizens Bank of Kentucky. Do you want to love your car even more? How about putting extra cash in your pocket each month by refinancing with new low rates at CBK? It is fast, it's easy. All you have to do is log on to wearecitizens.bank.
Stop going out of town to take care of your health care needs when we can take care of you right here locally. Stop by and see us in Lenore, West Virginia at Tug Valley Wellness Clinic. We are accepting new patients ages 2 and up. We do rapid COVID testing, see primary care, DOT physicals, and do well child and well adult exams. You can see nurse practitioner Tanya Chafin or one of her medical assistants, Holly Runyon or Haley Grimmett. Walk-ins are welcome. You can also call 304-236-3601 to make an appointment. Look forward to seeing you here at Tug Valley Wellness Clinic. If you're looking for an item that will tickle your fancy, stop by and see the folks at Pink Elephant 2, located on the Pike-Floyd County line. Right now you can get guns, ammo, jewelry, gaming systems, collectibles, and more. Pink Elephant 2 is giving top dollar for your gold, silver, and unwanted items. Stop by Pink Elephant 2 today. They're looking forward to seeing you. We're back here at M&M and Family Furniture in Harold, Kentucky. We got Kevin Keathley to my right. I'm Darryl McCoy. Jason Norman on the boards. You are watching the Grind Session. Coach, great deals, great service, and great warranties here at M&M Family Furniture.
Yep, go ahead.
Hey, Lewis Ratliff wants to know, is Isaac still at UK?
No, Isaac is at UK. I'm sorry. Isaac is at UK. I don't know how much longer that'll be the case, but for right now, Isaac is there. Me, myself, I hope he stays there. But, I do know he has some options.
Right.
And Lewis also made the comment, I think the way the roster is right now, Sweet 16, I don't think Clutch will keep Bradshaw out.
I hope that's not the case, Coach, because, I mean, listen, I at the end of the day, if that's the case, then if I'm Calipari, I may have to look twice before I take clutch guy again.
I think Calipari probably, from moving forward, I think there has to be an absolute agreement. Look, this kid's going to play, and you're not going to dictate or control injury situations or have a decision on whether that young man plays or not. I think that has to be, moving forward, that has to be an agreement.
Coach, a lot of old faces in new places. The transfer portal here in the mountains has been going wide open. And how about Mingo Central picking up Aiden Burke from Belfry?
That's a big one because me and you've talked, and we know how big that is football-wise. David Jones, he's loving that. That's huge over at Mingo Central. Minor Mountain?
Minor Mountain.
Minor Mountain. David Jones has got him a Division I type athlete heading his way. But for basketball, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, he, in terms of prospects, he's as good as it gets if he gets in that gym and works. He's that good.
He's going to be a star over in West Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm very excited there. Excuse me. Before we leave Pond Creek, a couple of the middle school kids moving places. Carly Stanley from Belfry and Macy Maynard. Carly Stanley goes to Johnson Central. She's going to play for Coach Hicks and probably be a huge part to that Johnson Central team. And then Macy Maynard, who played varsity minutes last year, averaged 6 and 4 for the Pirates. She's going over to Martin County and going to solidify a front court with Katie Markham. That may be one of the best front courts in the 15th region.
How much better does that district get with those two individuals, Darryl? You talking about two legit players in their class, and Miss Stanley, she can be as good as she wants to be at that guard spot. And Coach Hicks, I hear he's bringing her in slowly during the summer. I think you heard the same thing. But watch out. I got no doubt she'll probably crack that starting lineup. I don't want to jinx anybody, but she'll be that good that she could be one of those top 5 players there.
Oh, I absolutely see her start. And you mix her up with Kayla McKenzie, that's a nice 1-2 punch there in Johnson Central.
Yes.
So, and their style of play already catered to the way she likes to play.
Yes.
Getting up and down the floor, getting after on defense. I mean, I think she's a perfect piece for Coach Hicks there.
I agree.
And then Macy Maynard likewise for Robin Newsom.
Listen, tough. She can bang you.
Yep.
She can knock you around. She can set screens, and guess what else she can do? She can rebound, and she's going to be able to outlet to Miss Lakin Williams.
Yep. And there's another big piece that I've heard has left Pond Creek that we're not going to mention yet, but I mean a big piece. So we'll keep an eye on that, and you'll find that as the rosters and the pigskin previews come out for the other teams.
Wow.
Yep. So Adam Muncie says, how big has David Jones been for Mingo Central? Seems like people have figured out the road to Pond Creek also leads back to Minor Mountain. So listen, at the end of the day, we're all, Jason, he's a Belfry alum. David's a Belfry alum. I'm a Belfry alum. So I want Belfry to do good. I want people to go to Belfry. But it's a situation. Sometimes not everything's a great fit. I mean, it ain't got to be ugly divorces. Sometimes, what you do may not, okay, I mean, if you got a 5-star wide receiver, he's probably not going to be much use at Belfry.
Right.
Just like, I mean, you could have a situation where, if you got a big-time quarterback, he probably ain't going to be much use to Belfry. If you got a 5-star running back, listen, I mean, Belfry's the place you need to be.
Right.
If you're a lineman, Belfry's the place you need to be. So, I mean, not everything's got to be. Listen, Belfry's got a load to offer kids, and Belfry, I promise you, Belfry's gonna be all right.
Belfry's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
And no doubt about it, Hall of Fame coach, one of the very best, not only Kentucky but anywhere. And you need to pick up his second book. It's out, right, Darryl McCoy. But you better believe one thing. David Jones is a competitor. I've talked to him about it. I spent about an hour talking to him about his thoughts on kind of the shift in the movement. Maybe kids want to come back and play for him or things like that. And he said, listen, kids want to play where they want to play, and if they want to play for me, they're going to play for me, and I'm going to get them to the next level. And he said, you know what? He said, this is what he said to me. He said, listen, people can get big mad, as the kids say, Darryl. People can get big mad all they want, but I'm here for the kids, and I'm here for Mingo Central now, and that's my job is to win ball games. So he's doing what coach should do. And listen, just like Aiden Burke, that's a big-time get.
Yeah, that's a huge get, and either way, like I said, both programs have a lot to offer, so I could see why anybody want to go to either one of the programs. Yeah. So, I hope that both programs go on to win state titles, and listen, Belfry's got a load of talent there, so one or two players ain't going to break the bank for the Pirates.
Not at all.
So, as we're moving on here, speaking of kids that's making a difference, how about the transfer of Jaden Huff going back home from Letcher Central to Knott County?
Well, listen, we've had a chance to watch Knott County on multiple occasions, and Coach Huff, with his enthusiastic, passionate style, has been almost like the perfect fit for those kids. The development from off-season in the last couple of months is just extraordinary. And you add that young man to what they've got. Darryl McCoy, we've been talking about Powell County a lot, you and I have. This Knott County team could be knocking on those top 2 or 3 teams' doors.
Listen, you take a look the way they finished the season. I don't know that you might not put Knott County ahead of Powell County right now, obviously we seen Breathitt, when Sperry's really putting the ball on the floor doing what he's doing, they're going to be one too. As you know, folks, we're talking a lot of 14th region because D&D has added the rest of the 14th region to our coverage area. So if you own a business, make sure you hit us up in that area because we are going to need community partners. It's a situation in there at Knott County. Coach Huff, he's went and built that new locker room. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but I think we got a sneak peek of it. But it's a situation where right now, what Coach Huff, it's, as you said, it's the field of dreams thing. If you build it, they will come. And, the flood come, wiped them out. They built a new floor, new locker room. And listen, Jaden Huff, I promise you, Jaden Huff isn't the last piece to fall. Knott County will pick up 1, maybe 2 more pieces before basketball season tips off. Promise you.
And that's unbelievable because they add 1 more piece. They add 2. You're talking about region title contender, no doubt about it, because they're already right there. We saw that this summer. And Coach Huff, like you said, if you build it, they will come. Yeah. His passion, his intensity, the way he does things is almost a college atmosphere. If you go and check his Facebook out and you check out the Knott County Twitter page out, look at those kids' transformation in the weight room in 2 months, Darryl McCoy. Yep. It is evident. It's not no tricks in the photography, ladies and gentlemen. Those young men have beefed up, bulked up, and strengthened up, and this Knott County program is on the rise, and it's amazing how Coach Huff has done it in such a short amount of time.
If you had to say one player, what's the biggest off-season move that you've seen so far in the mountains?
Wow.
While you're thinking, I'm going to give you mine.
Go ahead.
Matt Hatfield going from Mingo Central to Logan.
Yeah.
I think that he made Logan where Logan could win a state title this year. He's that good of a piece and that valuable of a piece. We seen them, Coach. They come in 5 deep to the UPOC camp, and they got 2 healthy wins there with 5 kids. And 2 of them, one of them hadn't played in a year, a sophomore that hadn't played in a year, and the other one is an incoming freshman that, probably won't get much playing time during the season. He may if he continues. He's had a big summer, but I don't know, what they got coming back, if they'll, play a freshman this year or not. But I just think Matt Hatfield, he's a kid that's top 5 at his position, and for him to go to Logan, that's a big piece.
Well, I'm going to agree with you. I think Matt Hatfield's the most important transfer. It puts all the other pieces at their position, Darryl. Yep. Whereas if Matt Hatfield didn't come, now you've got somebody trying to run a point maybe that not not comfortable there, right? So I think Matt kind of makes it all come together.
I agree with you 100%. I think he was a huge transfer piece that fell. I tell you, a piece that's going to have a huge impact that a lot of people, I don't think it's official yet, but going from the summer playing with them, I think Ethan Farrell going to Prestonsburg will be a huge part to what the Black Cats do.
Well, listen, he has played well, right?
Yep.
We've had a chance to watch a lot of Prestonsburg games, and Prestonsburg, without 2, 3, 4, 5 guys at times, playing way down in that JV, have far exceeded what I thought they would do. And a big part of it is Ethan Farrell. He probably, if you go and average up those numbers, average anywhere between 16 to 19, 20 a game during the summer. I mean, he put up good numbers, and what makes him when he's really efficient, and you've said this a couple times on broadcast, is when he uses upper body strength and get to the rack.
That's it. When he decides that he don't want to bail them out with 3-pointers, when he wants to go down low, it's hard to stop him because he is a load. And both of them kids are D&D Mountain Elite players.
That's
true. The big part in the transfer portal.
Big part of it.
Yeah. I'm sitting here trying to think of other kids. A piece that didn't just transfer this summer, did a few weeks ago, but is going to have a big impact is Jake Sloan at Pike Central. He gives them that third piece. So, I think there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle. A piece that's not transferred, but a piece that's come back. Carter Hurley could be a big piece there at Pikeville. So, it's going to be interesting. I'm trying to think if I hear Rowan County picked up 2 kids from Lexington Christian, who's going from LCA that is going to make Rowan County a contender there in the 16th region. That 16th region right now, it's starting to beef up. You got Boyd County doing what they're doing. Jacob Spurlock picked up an offer from Georgetown. This kid coach has had as good a summer as anybody out there. He's started picking up a lot of notoriety for his play this summer.
He's had a really good summer on the AAU circuit playing for Indiana Elite, and Spurlock, as you said, picked up an offer from Georgetown College via Mr. Robert Amos, who we know very well.
Yeah, he's if you know Spurlock, offensively, the kid can flat light it up, Coach. One of the best offensive players that we've seen in the D&D era.
Yeah, he's very skilled offensively.
Yep, very skilled. I still, listen, there's still a lot of movement to be said. We're getting pieces every day. We're getting fed information where this piece, before school starts, this piece is going to fall. This piece is going to fall after football season. So there's going to be a lot of more movement, and things are going to look a lot different before the season even kicks off in basketball.
That's what I was going to say. I'm hearing there's going to be some movement even in the 58th district. For sure, in the 58th district, I believe there might be a couple of parts moving within the next 2-3 weeks. Darryl, don't be surprised by that.
Yeah, could be very interesting. And guys, we're gonna have to take another commercial break. Jason's sending us the break. When we come back, we're gonna tell you about the new skipper in Logan, West Virginia, and then we also got a lot more to talk about as we kind of introduce our power rankings and how things are looking in the mountains right now. Our way too early rankings coming up in just a minute. Come right back and join us here on the Grind Session. Let the folks at Double Quick help you start your 2022 off right. They've brought back the Bourbon Pecan Coffee for a limited time only. You can also quench your thirst with the great deals on fountain drinks they offer daily. Double Quick is your one-stop shop for everything. They offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can stop by one of their many storefront locations spread throughout eastern Kentucky. Stop by and let Double Quick make your day better. 606 Hemp now has a new location in Coal Run, right outside Pikeville. For all your CBD, kratom, and vape items, come see us. If Pikeville's too far, we got locations in Painesville and Fort Gay. We look forward to seeing you soon.
This is Bruce Walters from Bruce Walters Kia. By now you know Kia is a great vehicle, and you know they come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. So why should you buy from Bruce Walters Kia? At Bruce Walters Kia, we're going to change your oil for free for life. And what you do with that money you save is up to you. Come check out the 2022 Kia Carnival and the 2021 Kia Sorento. Only at Bruce Walters Kia in Pikeville. Or shop us online at brucewalterskia.com.
We are back here at M&M Family Furniture. Kevin Keathley to my right. I'm Darryl McCoy. This is Jason Norman on the boards. Guys, as we're sitting here, amongst this beautiful furniture, Coach, I see great deal there, great deal there, great deal there, great warranty there. Everywhere you turn, great deals.
Unbelievable. Down to pillows, down to mattresses, recliners. You got it all here at M&M Family Furniture. Yes, sir. And you talk about the skipper, the coach, the guy in charge, Mr. Willie Meade, long-time Betsy Lane resident, long-time Floyd County resident. Guess what? Grew up right down the road across those railroad tracks in Toller Creek, Kentucky. And so you know when you deal with Willie, you're dealing with a neighbor.
Yeah, you may or may not have had some overnight basketball camps with him, Coach.
Maybe so.
Yeah. So do we got any questions or comments there, Jason?
Nope, nothing right now. Just seen where Kristen Whitehead and Jenna Sparks both got offered from Center College.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huge offers. Kristen Whitehead, we're big fans of her game. She's a flat-out sniper from downtown, Coach, and she's really rounded out her game where she's been able to do a lot more than just a three-point shooter.
Absolutely. She has, but I'll tell you this, and she has a great, listen, it's money, but her release has one of the most unique spins on the ball. It spins like a globe when she shoots it. So she kind of shoots it like that, but it goes in, and she's money from downtown. Speaking of downtown, what about KK Vinoy picking up an offer earlier today? The University of Dallas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so picked up an offer, Miss Vinoy.
Yeah, Corey Thacker was talking about a transfer from, I'm trying to think who it was he's talking about that transferred to Painesville. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember. Fresh in my mind there, Corey, and he said the Eastridge transfer that went to Shelby Valley will have a big impact too. So, a lot of offers being handed out right now. You had Lakem Williams picking up an offer from KCU. Now, KCU, listen, they have recruited the Mountains as good as any program out there in the past 2 years. They've went after every top prospect. They've landed Maddie Mead. They got Jada Johnson. Sammy Seitz transfers over to KCU. Okay. So now Sammy Seitz is over there, and now you're going after the third-ranked player in the 2024 class in Lakem Williams. Yeah. They know what they're doing there. Their recruiting department is doing top-notch stuff there at KCU.
Doing a great job, and Miss Lakem Williams will be a huge addition if she so chooses to join KCU.
And Lewis Ratliff wants to know if there's any major changes at Pikeville.
Let us know what you're talking about. In basketball, I've not really heard any movement in Pikeville.
Well, Lewis, the only thing that me and Darryl's talked about it throughout the summer is the re-addition of Carter Hurley, and I think they're trying to fit him back in to see if he can be that point guard. Remember, he's a big-time track athlete, cross-country athlete, took a year off. He's back now, but is he capable of being that guy? He's certainly capable if he can find that rhythm and flow with those other four guys on the floor.
And I tell you, listen, two young pieces, and a young piece that before the season comes around that could be in that starting spot at point guard. Don't sleep on Braden Bowden being that starting point guard when the season comes around.
Yeah, that's another one. And I know Coach Elijah Justice, and I ain't spoke to Coach Justice in quite some time, but when I did speak with the coaching staff, and it's been quite some time ago, they were really high on Mr. Braden Bolden and what he brought to the table. Yep. So he could be that guy. You say, you know what, let's just throw him in the fire, and let's see if he can because guess what? Trial by fire, by the end of the year, guess what? He'll be ready to go.
And I tell you, another kid that has stepped his game up for Pikeville and may see some varsity minutes this year, Brody Little. I mean, he had a huge summer, Coach. We seen him at the Kentuckiana Hoops Fest, and I mean, he's playing. I mean, he's definitely ahead of the curve. He's elevated his game to a different level.
Yeah, Brody's another one. We've followed that junior high ever since the grind session is 4 years now, and those rivalries Belfry's had when he was at Belfry, Pikeville with Mullins and Belfry. And listen, Brody has improved.
Yep.
And Brody, like you said, it wouldn't surprise me in the least, like you said, if he's playing those pivotal minutes rotation-wise for varsity this year.
How about our guy Clyde Dingus, a man that knows a little bit about basketball? He's a street ball legend. We used to play with him at Turkey Creek, man. You talking about a guy that can ball. He's watching from Cherokee, North Carolina, from the lake.
Yeah.
So as we're continuing, Lewis Ratliff was talking about Heath Darryl at point guard. I don't think that they want to play him at point. I think Heath is better playing off the ball, so I don't think that's their first option. Now, a man could go big, I mean, because E.B. Waters has elevated his game. If they can get Waters where he can, consistently defend that fourth spot offensively, I mean, listen, E.B. Waters is right there. He's one of the top 3-4 bigs in the mountains. I mean, he's got that good. But, we'll see if Elijah Justice elects to play him and Fitzer at the same time. Right. If so, that's a Twin Tower scenario. But we seen last year, whenever they did try to go, big like that, Martin County kind of picked them apart, with Dre Duff's quickness. That's the thing. You got to find somebody, and that's where I think Braden Bowden will really come in, is his defense paralysis. I think, he'll be able to help out on Dre Duff, because that was one of the big pieces last year that really hurt Pikeville. And now you got them two wings running the floor like they're running. Jacob Sturgill gets up and down the floor. I mean, this Martin County team, they're going to spread you. They space the ball really well, and this is going to be a fun team to watch. As the summers went along, Martin County has impressed me more and more.
If Martin County and Pikeville are the head of the pack, or the top 2 or 3 in the 15th region, and we said this pregame at the 15th region tournament, that they have different styles. And if he does elect to go EB and go with Mr. Fitzer, you nailed it. Eli Johnson as well. Is Eli a guy that can get up? Sure he is. But Eli is a more effective guy in the half court. So you've got a half court oriented team, whereas Martin County wants to get you up and down the floor. And the one weakness that I see in Pikeville, and I saw it, and I said, listen, if Martin County get outrun on them, all they need is one run, and they probably could knock off Pikeville in that tournament last year in the championship game. Sure enough, they did. It's that transition game, Darryl, for Pikeville. This summer when I watched them again, transition D was an issue for Coach Elijah Justice. So he's going to have to figure it out. We're going to have to slow you down if we go with the bigs, or like you said, we're going to have to find a couple of pieces to be able to speed up a little bit.
But roster to roster, I'd probably take Pikeville's over anybody.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah. So but it's going to be interesting. I mean, Eli Johnson, he's got to be a kid that he's got to be that primary scorer for him, and really put the team on his back. Now for Martin County, as good as they've looked, they've still been without D&D Mountain Elite point guard Peyton Davis, who is returning back from that injury. If he returns back to 100% and gives them that extra defender, because he's a kid that, he's kind of that he's right there on the verge of starting. That they normally start Duff, but he gets just as many minutes, in the starting rotation. If he comes back 100%, then you add the quickness of Duff. You got them two wings. You got Sturgill, and they got Devin Maynard now, right. Blake Maynard, who stepped his game up. I mean, Martin County's going to be a scary team because they got length, they got size, and they got kids that can stretch the floor.
Stretch the floor, space the floor. I really love how Coach James spaces the floor, and they can run on you, and they got multiple scores. And they've kind of been a roller coaster this summer. But again, I'll go back to this. Martin County's been one of those teams like Prestonsburg. They've not had all their pieces. I don't think they've had all their pieces in one game this year. I could be wrong. But for the most part, Martin County never had their entire team intact when they played this summer. And they had some
they couldn't because Davis was out.
So that's true, too. I think Duff's missed some games.
Yeah.
Luke Hale.
Yeah.
Missed games. So it's been a roller coaster. At times they played really well. Like they beat Pike Central by 30.
Yeah.
And then they got Lawrence County beat them.
Yeah.
So it's been like this for Martin County this summer.
Yeah, it's but I mean, at the end of the day, well, let me ask you this, let's while we're on it, let's go. Who do you think are the 10 teams in the D&D coverage area? And we won't put them in order right now, but the 10 teams. Who are the 10 top teams
coverage area
in our coverage area, which is now the 14th region, 15th region, 16th region, and our West Virginia?
Wow. Okay, so I'll tell you what, number one right now in the coverage area, I'm going to go with Ashland. Okay, number one. Number two, I'm going to go with probably Martin County. Number three, probably Boyd County. 4, Pikeville. And wow, I'm. You know what? Chapmanville's going to be really good, Darryl. I don't know how good they're going to be because me and you've talked. But if they're state champs, I'm going to put Chapmanville there, Darryl McCoy.
Okay.
Pike Central. And I'll let you go from there, Darryl McCoy, and dissect it. I'm looking over some teams and.
Okay. Here's what. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think
5,
Ashland
6,
right
7,
now
8.
may be just in my view, with who they have.
I think Ashland. I think Xander Carter. By the way, Xander Carter committed to Liberty.
Yeah.
He'll be joining Colin Porter
Right.
up at Liberty. Now, that right there, we was talking to the coach the other day, and he said it was a situation. Xander wanted to go ahead. He said he spent his whole life traveling. He spent all of his summers playing AAU. He said he just wanted to be a kid, get that off his back so he could go enjoy his summers. Right. And now that he's committed to Liberty, and as Coach, pointed out, and as we always point out, if you got an offer now, if you can pick up a big D1 offer like that, you better take it, because with the transfer portal, there's no guarantee that offer will be there tomorrow.
Be gone just like that.
Yep. So as we're sitting here right now, Coach, in our coverage area, these are the teams that I'm seeing. Ashland. Then I'm gonna go Martin County. I'm gonna go Pikeville. I'm gonna go Boyd County. I'm gonna go Chapmanville. Then I'm gonna go Knott County.
Ooh.
Then, and like I said, this is in no order. Then Pike Central, Tug Valley. I think both of them are in it. That brings me to 8. Now, here's where I'm kind of torn. Floyd Central is one when they're clicking. I think Floyd Central could be that team. So I'm gonna pencil them in right now. Floyd Central, and then I tell you, I think Logan can be that team. I got Floyd Central, Logan, Powell County, and I'm telling you, a sneaky good team that you don't count out is I still think that Letcher Central is going to be good. Now, the team that I think can be in this mix, but I want to see how their depth affects them when the season starts. I think a team that absolutely talent for talent that belongs in this group is McGoffin County.
We saw them play.
Yeah, but I want to see them once the season starts, because it looks like their depth could be an issue.
Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah.
They brought in their top 5.
Yeah.
That summer game we watched them play, and I think fatigue got to them because Prestonsburg had them on the ropes, Darryl, to the very end. McGoffin County, it's going to come down to depth. I believe, for those guys on how far they can go and who steps up some of those younger guys.
Actually, on them final 2 spots, I'm trying to think. Floyd, as I said, Floyd Central, Magoffin County, I think are teams that belong in that group. I also, as I said, I think Logan belongs in that group, and I think Breathitt County belongs in that group. And I'm trying to figure out which 2. Is Powell County better than Breathitt?
Well, listen, they've got more talent, but they don't have Austin either. So, listen, Austin, make no mistake about it. They've got young kids around them. They still got a kid that hasn't that's been out the entire summer for Breathitt, who's probably going to be their second best player.
Kid with appendicitis.
I think so. Yeah, so he's out. Do I put Breathitt ahead of Powell County? Not talent for talent, but I put them ahead because of Austin Sperry. And I think by the end of the year, that team, Breathitt, will be really, really good. And who did I put initially at the very top? I put Powell, but I put Breathitt right there with them.
And I tell you, team that you want to watch too is Russell. Russell could be a sneaky good team. They're very young. I could see Russell upsetting a few teams, and especially you got Rimmer, Elijah Neal. They got a few nice pieces there, and then that Rowan County team with them transfers coming in there. Coach Sean Thacker, he's a Floyd County native. He's got a nice little group up there. So be interesting to see how that pans out there in Rowan County and where they are in that pecking order. But I do think that the 5, if you have me say, okay, who are the Power 5 in that group, I'm going to go in no particular order: Ashland, Pikeville, Martin County, Boyd County, and I would probably right now put Chapmanville in that 5th spot.
Right. Yeah, that's a good one. And I like what you're saying with Logan. After watching Logan, they can very well be a top 10 team here in the mountains.
Yeah, absolutely can. That's we just want to see, and we'll talk. We didn't even get to hit on that, guys. We're gonna take a commercial break. Jason's killing us over here, telling us to get the break, guys. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll come back, and we will promise we'll introduce Logan's coach to you, and then we're gonna talk some girls basketball too. A lot more to come here on the show, guys. Get your questions and comments down in the comment section below, and we'll get to them in a minute. You're watching the Grind Session.
If you're looking for a great selection and a great experience for your next Harley-Davidson, come on down to Mountain State Harley-Davidson here in Del Barton, West Virginia.
We have new 2023 models in stock and ready for delivery. Special financing available.
Or choose pre-owned with one of the largest inventories in the tri-state area with great low prices.
Visit our showroom filled with licensed Harley-Davidson apparel and more.
Don't write that check until you check with us, Mountain State Harley-Davidson, 61 Priest Bottom Road, or visit us online at mountainstatehd.com.
Looking for a great selection, great prices, and a great experience on your next ATV, motorcycle, or side-by-side? Come check out Keefer's Kawasaki.
Our #1 goal is to offer you the best power sport experience at a great price.
Like this new 23 Kawasaki Teryx 4 for only $17,999. Before you write that check, check with us. And remember, your adventure starts here at Keefer Kawasaki. Route 44 South, Jerry West Highway in Logan, or visit KeefersPowersports.net.
Stop by and see Joe Stepp at J&B Auto Sales. Right now, guaranteed credit approval. No credit, bad credit, good credit, it don't matter. Guaranteed credit approval 100% right now at J&B Auto Sales. Stop by and see them today in DeBoard, Kentucky. Crum Funeral Home in DeBoard, Kentucky is committed in giving the highest quality funeral services for a fair and reasonable price. If you don't want to have to deal with heavy financial obligations during your grieving process, come see us at Crum Funeral Home. Our staff is ready to serve you.
This is where it all started, right here on this farm. We may have grown over the years, but we've never lost sight of what was important to us. We're continuing that tradition today, and we always will be. for generations to come.
We're back here in Harold, Kentucky at M&M Family Furniture. Kevin Keathley, I'm Darryl McCoy, Jason Norman on the boards. Maestro, I'm sure Maestro's is watching, but he's not in the house with us tonight. But this is the Grind Session summer wind down here as we are trying to get you guys caught up on how summer ball, our thoughts on summer ball, and everything else going on in the mountains and around the world of basketball.
Yes.
So as we said, we're here at M&M Family Furniture, guys. For all your furniture needs, make sure you come down to Harold, Kentucky and buy local. Now, Coach, as we didn't get to talk about it a while ago, but we'll talk about it now. Logan decides to go with Jeff Hoopy Williamson as their coach.
And you're hearing a lot, right? And, of course, being involved here in the basketball community, I'm hearing a lot, and you're hearing, okay, it's down to 2-3 people, it's down to 2 people, and you get the feeling, okay, maybe there's one faction that wants Mr. Williams, right? Jeff Williams, Hoopy, and then there's a faction may want somebody else, and listen, you couldn't have went wrong with either selection, but I'm telling you right now, obviously they got who they wanted on their end because he lives in Kansas, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
So for them to pull him away from a job that obviously he's been very successful at and pull him away and get him back to Kentucky, obviously it meant a lot to him and it meant a lot to Logan to secure him.
Well, I personally am tickled to death that Logan hired Hoopy. You know, you know yourself. I ain't going to put it out there, but it don't take a genius to figure out why I'm excited that Hoopy was the answer. And I think at the end of the day, Logan wanted Hoopy from the beginning. That was their guy, and they, at the end of the day, they come up with what they needed to come up with to bring him home. Right. Hoopy is a 2005 graduate from Logan. I mean, he's coached in Tennessee. He's coached in Oklahoma, Kansas, West Virginia. He was a part of Logan's staff when D&D first started. So I've met Jeff quite a few times. Great guy, great basketball mind. He's coached at the collegiate level. He's coached at Salem, Rio Grande. Trying to think where else it was that he coached at, Coach. West Virginia Tech.
West Virginia Tech. I coached at West Virginia Tech briefly.
Yeah, so I mean, and it's, they hired him. He's been at Garden City High School in Kansas since 2021. And, I mean, he was who Logan wanted. That was their guy. The first name you seen when they got rid of Zach Green, which I still think is a travesty. Zach Green was a hell of a coach, and, they got rid of him. But, the first name that was mentioned was Jeff Hoopy Williamson, and they done what they needed to do to get him home.
Well, I'm going to pose a question to you, but I'm going to preface it with this. No doubt, credentials, yes, sir. Native, yes, sir. He checks all the boxes. So, great hire. Listen, I think the Logan administration's probably did the best job they could do. But my question to you is, been around it, right? So you heard when the Logan job came open. My question is, do you think that Logan handled it exactly how they should have handled it in terms of? No, I think it was handled completely wrong. I mean, I'm not, but it wasn't. This is uncharacteristic too, because this year, they went to where the state took over the school board. So there was a big change in that aspect. Normally, this would have been a completely different process and may have been a completely different hire. Yeah. But with the state in control, things, before things would get leaked out, people, it was, a lot of the politics would have a lot of power play. There was a lot more things went into it before when the county had the control of the school board, but now that the state does, things are a lot different. But I think what it ended up, my thing is how long they waited. You let their coach get in there with the kids. That should have been, he should have had this 3-week period with his team. But if they thought they was going to get Hoopy, I could see why, because he's probably in no hurry. It's probably taking him a while to get back here. Right.
So
And also maybe, and again, I'm just guessing and surmising. I've been through this ordeal as a coach, the waiting game. Maybe also went down, Darryl's. Maybe they thought they had who they thought they wanted. Maybe Hoopy maybe initially said, no, thank you. Or
no, that was the case.
Well, see, Darryl's got more in track than I do. And then maybe they thought they were going a different direction. Then, wait a minute. Maybe he is open. So now all of a sudden the decision-making process becomes a little chaotic, especially in the final couple weeks.
At the end of the day, dollars make sense.
Oh, yeah, money changes a lot of minds, right? Yeah. But I will say this. I'll say this. Darryl McCoy mentioned he's happy about it. I can tell you one thing. Great coaches were in that final position to get that job. And yeah, you better believe for some kids and some parents, they're ultra excited that Logan went in a different direction.
Yeah. I mean, I 100% am. And it would have been rough if it wouldn't have been the other case. It would have been rough for me.
Right.
So, but as we're getting going on here, we got we was talking about all the pieces changing places. In girls basketball, things haven't. I've been surprised by a couple teams from what I've seen. And Jonathan, we're going to get to your question in a little bit. We talked about it a while ago in case you missed it, but we'll try to get back to it. But as the girls go, I think that at the end of the day, Pikeville, the 15th region's going to go through Pikeville. That's just the way it is. Do I see teams, any team that can knock them off? Last year it took a powerhouse of a Lawrence County team to beat them. This year here, I think Martin County could be a team that could surprise you. Johnson Central, their style of play, see if it can affect Pikeville. But I'm trying to think in the 15th region, is there any more teams other than them that I could see?
Paintsville.
I think, Paintsville, but I tell you, Paintsville, I've seen a couple times, they played this summer, and I heard they looked pretty bad. And then I've heard that they've also looked great.
Right.
So, but I know Paintsville's roster.
Yeah.
I'll take Paintsville's roster. Give me Kylie Kenner, give me Emmy Priest.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And then you got KK Vanoy there, and then you added a Corey. I tell you what, we'll talk Corey in a minute, but they you got Betsy Lane. I think is going to be a solid team this year, and I tell you, a team that's going to be a lot better than people think. That we got to look at them, and I'm telling you, I never dreamed they'd be as good as what they looked. Is Floyd Central. Losing all the pieces they did, Floyd Central, they got Chloe Crace at point guard, is something that I didn't know she was ready. But I tell you, after watching her the other day, she's got Floyd Central, her, Riley Joe Compton and crew, that Hall girl, Kylie Hall. This is a team that you're not going to want to sleep on. This is going to be a very good Floyd Central team.
I'm going to say this again. It seems like every other year since my daughter was a senior that the 58th district is going to be the very best district. It's going to be a dogfight, cat fight every single night out in that 58th district with the girls team. Coach Corey Thacker's Betsy Lane team, I've heard nothing but good things about those girls. As you mentioned, Floyd Central looking much improved. Lawrence County probably got the kind of that notch ahead of everybody else. But I'm telling you right now, I've said it again, Coach Brandon Kidd's team, Prestonsburg, once they get Audrey Prater back, listen, this team can defend. They fight, scrap, and claw, unlike any Prestonsburg girls team that I've seen since Caitlin's team. They defend your butt off with Miss Allison Howard. You're talking about Ashley Tackett. You're talking about Audrey Prater.
Yeah.
They've got a defense that can complement their offense.
Hot Rod Lafferty.
Oh, my God, yes. Yeah. Lafferty. And then who I'm seeing in the gym every night when Braxton's in there, and your son Jackson, guess what? Who's getting in there? The 8th grader, the center. She's being trained by former Amelia Newsom's in there, and her footwork, her finishing's getting much better. Brandon Kidd has got size. He's got defenders. Are they going to be a great scoring team? Probably not. But I promise you, the energy that Allison Howard and Audrey Prater and Ashley Tackett bring to the table, watch out. This 58th district's loaded, and you nailed it with Corey Thacker. That Betsy Lane team, it's going to be interesting to see. Betsy Lane's going to shock folks, Darryl.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're going to be a team that is going to shock a lot of folks. I can't. I don't know. I think it'll be a Betsy Lane. When you take a look at their roster that they've got right now, I mean, Jaden Pente. I think that Jaden Pente is a point guard that you add her, you add a couple of the bigs, and actually, Jason, we probably won't be able to hear him on that phone because it's messed up. If you don't care, call him on your phone. And guys, we're trying to get Corey Thacker on.
Great.
That's the grind session. It's moving along here, Coach. I mean, listen, we didn't even know if Corey had answered, but Corey answered, so we're going to put him on the hot spot.
I love it. Listen, we haven't done phone calls since we had Mr. Max, the senator.
We had him during COVID era.
Listen, I was in Shreveport and Max was in out in that Elizabethtown area, and we were doing three-way calling on the D&D Sports grind session. So I think this is the first time since then that we've had somebody on the D&D phone.
Yeah, we're going to try to get Coach Stacker on here, guys. Let's see if he can turn it up there so we can hear Coach Stacker. Coach Stacker, can you hear us, Coach?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. How you doing?
Good. I want to welcome you and want to thank you for joining the show there. I know we caught you off guard here, but we want to talk to you about your team this summer. I think a lot of people has y'all right now as, one of them top 1-2 teams in that district. Obviously, as I was talking, Floyd Central, they look a little better than what people originally thought. And then Prestonsburg and Lawrence County, they're both teams that you could very well see in the region tournament. As it looked like it was going to be y'all and Lawrence at the beginning, have you been surprised at how well Prestonsburg and Floyd Central has played this summer?
I wouldn't call it surprised. Me and BK's got a great relationship. I know his teams are always well prepared and going to play hard, going to listen. We're very well disciplined. Got to know Ty a little bit since he's taken over. And I wouldn't call it surprise. I just think it's more of a surprise of the way they're changing their play style. Is a surprise.
Yeah, the thing that we wanted to commend you on is, Coach, Betsy Lane, one of the big things before is Betsy Lane girls basketball, it was kind of an afterthought. That school kind of revolves around the boys basketball program. But this summer, you have put them girls on big stage after big stage. You've took them to college campuses. You've gave these girls experience and put Betsy Lane on the stage that it hasn't been on in a lot of years. What was your thought process, and how do you feel about the summer?
We feel good. Of course, nobody wants to lose, but there was positive, there was negatives. We was able to grow. We was able to play a lot of our young girls this summer, and we went into the summer with the mindset that let's play the top teams and see exactly where we're at. Because sitting down the round table, you could put us. If you ask 10 people, you could put us anywhere between 7 and 15 in the region, just depending on who you ask them. And realistically, we think we're middle of the pack, but we know what we got to do to get to the top 5 or 6 teams in the region. We played Knott County, who one of the best ball clubs I've seen in girls basketball.
Yep.
We competed with them. We played 2 halves. We competed with them for a half. Played exceptionally well, and then their experience, their strength, their size, their numbers got us. We played a Martin County team without Markham, but they had Macy Maynard. Lost by 2 points. We've competed the camps we went to was exceptionally well for our girls. We got 1 senior. We returned everybody that we had last year, minus 1 player. She moved to Texas. We returned everybody, so we finally got that year of varsity under our belt. which is going to help us. But I think our district, as far as district goes, I think it's going to be the most competitive this district's been in a long time, top to bottom.
I agree 100%.
Well, Coach Corey Thacker, you nailed it. Competitiveness, toughness. It's going to be a dogfight, catfight, night in and night out. Talk a little bit, Coach Thacker. Every coach, they go into the summer maybe wanting different things, or maybe they want a multitude of things to happen. What was the biggest takeaway this summer on the floor that you said, you know what, when you walked away and you kind of look back, you say, okay, we've got something here?
There was of course we set our goals going into this summer. We set our mind on playing strictly man this summer. We, no matter what, we was going to stay with man and learn to play man-to-man defense, help side, two passes away, all that stuff. And we stuck with it for the most part until you went to Transylvania, and the whole camp was pretty well a zone-based camp. Right. We had to adjust a little bit there. I think one thing that grew, not where we want it to be exactly, but individuals, our basketball IQ. When you're dealing with girls and young girls with that, it could be a step or two behind. But our basketball IQ grew from top to bottom because, like I said, we've only got one senior, and we're super young. We had some incoming freshmen who played a lot of varsity minutes this summer, and our togetherness was a huge thing for us. I'm not going to say there was a gap last year, but the age difference was the same, but the grade level was such a gap last year. We had 4 or 5 eighth graders, two freshmen, 4 sophomores, and a junior. This year, I think they all, if you stood them side by side, I think you couldn't tell which one was a freshman and which one was a senior. And that was a huge thing for us, just getting that maturity level, top to bottom, on the same page.
Well, you talk about maturity, you talk about individuals developing. Sometimes coaches are a little hesitant to kind of be just point blank and blunt and direct on who offensively, defensively, the team revolves around. For you, Coach, who are the 1 to 2 players are kind of, okay, this is who I got to build this team around, and who complements one another? Who are the 2 people you're like, all right, they're kind of pushing the wagon, pulling the wagon?
Well, the obvious choice, is our point guard, Jaden Piente. Without her last year, we probably don't get it past half court 95% of the time. Team's seen our youth, and they pressed us, and without her, it'd have been tough on us. I'm not going to say it's built around her because, we also have 2 of the, what I like to say, the biggest up-and-coming bigs outside of Sadie Johnson and Macy Maynard in the region. Kinley Martin and Jaden Darryl, and neither one are true 5s. I consider them more 4s, but can play well with their back to the basket. And we got our leader vocally, defensively. She's really grown to communicate. Haley Dameron, she led us in scoring last year, and I think she'll have a rep of the year of that. But a couple girls that go we had a banquet. Let's put it this way: we had a banquet, our award banquet this summer, and we gave out the adversity award, and that's huge for our program. So someone that faced it every day, that had every reason to quit or lay down, and just kept fighting back. And it showed this summer on the defensive end, the loose balls. Girl could play a whole game and not give you no points, but was all over the stat sheet. That's a junior wing player, Lacey Hall. She just
love her.
She's probably 5'2", and got the potential to lead us in rebounds this year if she wants to. But she's always on the floor. She does, like I said, she doesn't have to score. And you got the complimentary player, Carly Williams, who, speed wise, she's going to keep up with anybody that you put in front of. We still got some work to do in her style of defense, but she can make it really tough on ball handlers when we're playing the fast tempo up and down type of But one name that I would like to throw out there that's not going to talk about, no one really knows about, who's really kind of like the diamond in the rough. We got an incoming freshman named Maddie Collins.
I was getting ready to ask you about her, and is she a kid that we could see playing varsity minutes this year for you?
Well, I'll tell you this: we played a lot of this summer. We actually played 2 weeks without Jake Pente. She got a little strep and some sickness going on, and we played the UPAC day, both games. Maddie Collins had to step into that point guard role. And we played Ridgeview and Eastridge, and we was able to beat Eastridge, and Ridgeview we was able to keep it close without Jaden Pente. Lost a close one, but she done exceptionally well, and she's seen her minutes grow. We're trying to work her more into the 2 spot because we feel real comfortable with where we're at with Jaden Pente and Carly Williams at the 1, and we foresee Maddie Collins, she's got a really nice shot. It's smooth. She got a really smooth game. We're working on quickness and, footwork and stuff to get her to that varsity level. But varsity minutes is definitely something you're going to see her get to play this year. She's going to have plenty of opportunity to excel on the varsity level.
I'm very excited. I'm excited about everything that you're doing there at Betsy Lane. Coach Corey Thacker, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us here tonight. I know we caught you off guard, but I appreciate you answering, sharing your team and your thoughts on some of the stuff on the region. And I tell you, speaking for a lot of people, I think, everyone's excited to see what you do with Betsy Lane girls basketball. You got them back to relevancy right now, and that's the first step, being relevant.
Well, I appreciate you guys reaching out. Sorry I wasn't as prepared, but I appreciate it. I appreciate what you guys do. I know it's dead period right now. I think you guys deserve the dead period just as much as us coaches and players too, so we appreciate that.
I sure appreciate you, Coach, and tell your family we said hi, and hopefully we can have you on set here in the coming weeks.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good evening.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to give our top 10 girls teams. Yeah. So, guys, come right back and join us here on the Grind Session live from Harold, Kentucky, M&M Family Furniture.
Gift. This Christmas will be the biggest sale in our 85-year history. Tell them about it, Wes.
Go to castlesjewelry.com or stop in our store and see our sales paper. You'll find incredible savings on diamond anniversary bands, earrings, bracelets, and the area's largest selection of genuine and lab-grown diamond engagement rings. And here's the great part of it. If it snows 3 inches on New Year's Day, your purchase is free.
Castle's Jewelry and Gift. That's the place to go. So let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Jewelry and Gift. This Christmas will be the biggest sale in our 85-year history. Tell them about it, Wes.
Go to castlesjewelry.com or stop in our store and see our sales paper. You'll find incredible savings on diamond anniversary bands, earrings, bracelets, and the area's largest selection of genuine and lab-grown diamond engagement rings. And here's the great part of it. If it snows 3 inches on New Year's Day, your purchase is free.
Castle's Jewelry and Gift. That's the place to go. So let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
If you're looking for a great selection and a great experience for your next Harley-Davidson, come on down to Mountain State Harley-Davidson here in Del Barton, West Virginia.
We have new 2023 models in stock and ready for delivery. Special financing available.
Or choose pre-owned with one of the largest inventories in the tri-state area with great low prices.
Visit our showroom filled with licensed Harley-Davidson apparel and more.
Don't write that check until you check with us, Mountain State Harley-Davidson, 61 Priest Bottom Road, or visit us online at mountainstatehd.com.
Looking for a great selection, great prices, and a great experience on your next ATV, motorcycle, or side-by-side? Come check out Keefer's Kawasaki.
Our #1 goal is to offer you the best power sport experience at a great price.
Like this new 23 Kawasaki Teryx 4 for only $17,999. Before you write that check, check with us. And remember, your adventure starts here at Keefer Kawasaki. Route 44 South, Jerry West Highway in Logan, or visit KeefersPowersports.net.
Looking for a new pharmacy? Howard Family Pharmacy offers fast and friendly service and convenient drive-thrus at both locations.
We are back here in Harold, Kentucky at M&M Family Furniture. Kevin Keathley, I'm Darryl McCoy, Jason Norman on the boards. You are watching the Mountain's #1 basketball show, The Grind Session, right here on the D&D Sports Network. Coach, I want to thank Corey Thacker for joining us. Jason, you were speaking there about you've got to see a lot of that younger group at Betsy Lane. What are you seeing with them?
Coach Crystal Allen, Stephen Allen, they helped me out with my AAU team. There's a lot of 5th graders there, couple of 4th graders, that are going into 5th. If he can keep that group together, man, Betsy Lane's going to be a tough team to beat. Had a couple of them out there competing in AAU Worlds, which is, the biggest tournament for AAU. He's got a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, as you can see, guys, Coach Norman, Coach Norman, let them see your gear that you got on there. There you go. He's got that Arctic Rush.
Yeah.
Yeah, the coach, I know we got high praise for that Arctic Rush AAU program. Mark Hanna does an amazing job with them girls, and he recruits the Mountains as good as anybody for that team, and he's got the best of the best in that program.
Yeah, especially like you said, locally here in the Mountains, Eastern Kentucky, do a tremendous job. Rush does, and listen, they do a good job also of putting them in tournaments that matter. Don't be fooled. Sometimes, it's going to play in, and listen, you might as well just be playing outside on the dirt courts because nobody's watching. But Rush does a good job of putting their kids on a platform to be seen.
Coach, before we go off from girls basketball here, I want to get your thoughts. If you had to say 10 teams that you feel is going to be 10 of the power teams in the Mountains on the girls' side, who would they be?
Wow, we were just talking about that. Pikeville, head of the class again, I believe. I believe they're a team that's going to compete and probably cut down the next 15th region. Then from there, Darryl McCoy, it gets really, really hairy, and I think it's a dogfight from 2 all the way to 10. I want to hear your thoughts more so because I've not.
Do you think Pikeville's the best team in our coverage area?
You're going to probably say somebody in West Virginia, Darryl, because we've had a conversation. I think Pikeville's certainly the best team. I believe in the 15th and probably the 16th.
I think the best team in our coverage area is Wayne. I really listen. They got them Atkins sisters. They got. They got 5 legit players that could start on any team in the 15th region. And now they got the young girl that's coming up from Crum, was it J.C. Salmons, who she would come in right now and start point guard on any team not Pikeville in our coverage area. That's how good this girl is coming up from the 8th grade.
Right.
She's kind of that on-point baller. She's one of the prize pupils of Carla Booth, and this girl is the real deal, Coach. We're talking a Division I lock.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you ask me to give 10 girls teams, I was sitting here thinking off the top of my head. I think 10 of the best teams. Now, there could be a couple 14th region teams that I'm not mentioning here, guys. As I said, this is our first year covering the entire 14th region because we've only covered not Letcher, June Buchanan, and Cordia up to this point. But if you ask me to nail me down 10 teams, I'm going to say Wayne, Pikeville, Ashland, Russell, Boyd County, Martin County, Knott County, Logan, Letcher Central, and Johnson Central. That's my 10. That's my 10 power teams.
I like Johnson Central in there. That's a team, the top 10, that I'm certainly going to list and mention their ability to defend, how Coach Hicks wants them to play, and now you add in Miss Stanley, because a lot of times in this 15th region, you don't have that third guard. You don't have that 4th player that can score it, can defend it, can pass it. Well, guess what? You've got a kid that can be just as good as anybody in the region at doing all that. And you add that to an already really good Johnson Central team. They're a top 10 of 10 team in my view.
Oh yeah, I think so too. I think I think those would be my 10. Now, the team that I obviously could put in there that I'm wanting to see how they are without how they've got to get a new identity. But I think that Lawrence County could be that team that could knock Johnson Central out of it. If it'd be one of them two, I think, for that 10 spot.
You've got what, Darryl? You've got the I meant her name, who I brag about all the time. The kid.
Sophie Atkins.
No, the shooter.
Oh, Kason Ward.
Ward.
Yeah.
She's 5'11", 6 foot, can shoot it, play on the inside, can pass it, Darryl.
Yep.
She's a really good passer. She's a next level player. Lawrence County's a team that, depending on, like you said, how it all comes together with Miss Feltner gone, they can be really, really good.
Yeah, and I do think Mingo Central with Addie Smith up there, they could be a team that can make the same kind of run that they did last year. Obviously they lost Jenna Sparks, but the 16th region is so stacked with girls teams with Ashland, Russell, and Boyd County. That's any one of them could be that second team. I still think Wayne's the best team in the coverage area, but I think the next four is Pikeville, Boyd, Ashland, and Russell. I think those are the next four teams.
And again, on any given night, any one of those teams could knock each other off.
Absolutely, I absolutely think so. And as I said, I think Letcher with Kara Couch, I think we seen them play the other day. I think they could be a scary good team. And then Logan, a lot of people's going to count them out. Natalie Blankenship's gone; they're 2 years removed from Peyton Ilderton. But Coach Gertz, I forgot who they played the other day, but they beat Martin County.
Right.
They got a lot of young talent coming up. Logan could be a scary good team over there in that West Virginia coverage area.
A couple teams over in West Virginia. I do think the 14th region's way down. Go ahead.
Paintsville. I might would put Paintsville ahead of Johnson Central.
Yeah, I was going to mention they're teetering.
Yeah.
Either or with those two teams.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to chime in here, but that's the game I'm looking most forward to. In girls basketball, I want to see Paintsville play Johnson Central.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to it.
And there's going to be no love lost there. Now you got Carly Stanley there, so you got two. You got and me myself. You think of that. You get Carly Stanley there, you could have 3 Division I kids. And who knows where Kayla McKenzie, can go as she continues to get better, but you probably got Division I talent in Carly Stanley. You got Division I talent in Kylie Kenner and Emmy Priest. And then, possibly Kayla McKenzie if she, continues to work. So, there's going to be a lot of talent in that rivalry game.
A lot of talent. And I know we've mentioned a lot of people, but Miss Emmy Priest, and listen, the offers are rolling in now. She is that good. She's really, really good, folks. If you don't know Emmy Priest, you haven't checked her out. She's got size. She can knock down the long ball. She can play on the inside. Her basketball IQ is through the roof. That young lady is a Division I type player. She's already got the D2s rolling in.
Yep.
And listen, they just keep coming. Don't be surprised if those D1s don't come knocking.
Well, you got, think of the people you got tuning in tonight, Coach. You got Jaden Stewart, Beast from the East. You got Jalen Rigdon tuning in. You got Dre Duff. You got Aiden Barnett tuning in. You got our guy Christian Johnson, who just won a Nationals event down in Tennessee with his AOE group.
Yeah.
So Appalachian Outlaws doing big things, with right now. They've proved to be one of the best 8th grade groups locally here.
Yeah, locally, I think if you talk about local teams, with Brickshot not playing, I think Brickshot's probably not going to play this year. It looks to be that way. I know I talked to Eric, and he said he was, but it don't look like they're going to. Take Brickshot out. I think that team's now taking the leap as locally maybe the best team, certainly cohesive-wise.
Yep. And I tell you, KM Works with 606 Elite's got a nice little squad, too.
Yeah, they do.
So we got Trevor Noble says, don't forget about our D&D All-Star MVP, Jalen Witt, also for Letcher. So, yes, that Letcher team, I'm telling you, I watched them the other day. They're a very good squad, ain't they, Jason?
Oh yeah, man, that really impressive. Got a lot of kids that can do a lot of things. Like, I mean, they're going to surprise some
Yeah,
people.
they got a little guard. I'm trying to think of her name, Paige Dameron. That I was very pleased with the way that she run the point guard. But going on, I'm sitting here. A lot of people saying, they forgot the boys and they forgot that they didn't get to hear us say the boys. We basically guys. We'll go over it real quick. Again, I think, Coach, we had Ashland, Boyd County. We had let me see if I.
While you do that, Darryl, let me try to break mine down in regions real quick. All right, I'll just break mine down. Who I think you got: Martin County in the 15th, Pikeville and Pike Central is top 3. McGoffin County maybe hovering in there as 4 or 5. Then you've got Floyd Central as well on 14th region. Powell County, Breathitt, Letcher. So that's my 3 there. And then over in the 16th, I've got Ashland, Boyd, Rowan, and Russell.
I'm gonna tell you, you're crazy, Coach.
For what? Who did I miss?
You're crazy to mention the 14th and not have Knott in that group.
Oh, well, you're right. After Knott County's in there. Knott County's in that top 4 or 5. That was a error on my part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Knott County's in there.
I'm going to go Boyd County, Martin County, Pikeville, Ashland, Chapmanville, Knott County, Pike Central, Tug Valley, Floyd Central, and Breathitt County.
I love it.
And,
Breathitt County.
And right there teetering, I think you got Powell County is right there in that group. And trying to think who else I had to go. But, Letcher. I still think that Letcher, once they get Dixon back, that Matthew Taylor's going to have a group that can win that 14th region. I really believe that.
Yeah, Letcher's going to be really, really good again. We've had a chance to watch them play. They took Floyd Central to the wire. I go back to Breathitt County. It looks like Austin Sperry's grown another inch since I saw him last. I was telling his parents they're going to take some hits early, Breathitt County, but I think by the end of the year, they're going to be a team to contend with, and that Powell County team's unreal. And then going over back into the 15th, those teams that could throw a wrench in Pikeville and Pike Central and Martin County, Floyd Central, Darryl McCoy, is a team that could
do not sleep on Lawrence County. Right. We didn't get to see them with Bloomfield this summer, but they got one of the best coaches in the region in Chandler Thompson, and I really think that Lawrence County is going to shock some people. Hayden Perry has elevated his game, and I really think Lawrence County is going to be the shocker and could upset some stuff there. That being said, Prestonsburg with 3 of their core 7,
had a good summer.
And they was up by 1 on Breathitt County at half.
Yeah.
With 3 of their core 7, and one of them that was hurt.
Yeah.
So
on one leg.
Yeah. So Coach. We had a lot of people. A lot of people don't think me and Coach get along.
They don't think that.
No.
Hey, let me say that just real quick. I'm gonna, and I wouldn't normally do this, Storm and Norman, but that was my fault, and I'm gonna apologize to Darryl for that. I meant to actually call him after that because listen, I knew what Darryl was meaning. Darryl was taking no criticism or shots at anybody in particular. I had gotten some information prior on something, and I was already hot about something going on. So, because here's the thing, me and Darryl's gotten so close, that's just like family or best friends. Me and him could argue about something, but 5 seconds later, I'm not even thinking about it anymore.
No,
I'm literally not.
We're riding home and we're eating lunch together.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about it.
Yeah.
But Prestonsburg has far exceeded my expectations, Darryl, with the players they had.
No, my argument was, just that he, we was missing 3 players, but I wasn't counting him as the 4th player,
Right.
not missing because he was there.
Right.
So I didn't think that we could say we've
Right.
missing 4 when even if it was a 50%.
Yeah, I knew exactly what he was saying, but I was.
Yeah,
I have my mind on something already.
But that's what brings people to the show. Listen, me and Coach, you don't want to get us on stuff, Jason. You get us talking about AAU, we're probably going to come to fisticuffs. I think that that 58th district will take the place of the 57th district as the roughest district in the 15th.
By far.
I mean, when you look at a team like Prestonsburg, and right now a lot of people has them as the 4th best team. You got Betsy Lane, Lawrence, and Floyd Central. You never know who's going to come out because, I mean, from what we've seen this summer, Prestonsburg could be. I mean, there's not that big of a difference between the 4th team and the 1st team.
Right. I agree. And you look at Prestonsburg and Lawrence County, like-minded opponents. Lawrence County played East Carter. They won by 4. Prestonsburg played East Carter. They won by 4. Prestonsburg knocked off Leslie County. They knocked off Johnson Central. They've knocked off they knocked off Breathitt County without Sperry. That means a lot, right? But and the list goes on. I think Coach Parsley said they won close to 15 games. I know it definitely was plus 11 or more throughout the off season till the finish of the year.
Can I play devil's advocate here? And listen, I'm not, at the end of the day, our sons play for Prestonsburg, so but I think that I don't think Prestonsburg's played the toughest schedule this summer either.
But I will say, right, I'm not saying they played Pikeville or they played none of those guys, but they've played teams that are going to be middle of the pack in their regions, most of them. Some of them not, some of them so. But, they've played Breathitt 3 times. They played Leslie County. They played Magoffin County. Played Magoffin County right to the end there. So they play some teams that's going to compete for a region.
And there's not much. I mean, at the end of the day, when you look like Prestonsburg, it's tough. I can't fault the coach for not playing, the top tier teams, because at the end of the day, I mean, he knew that he was going to have 3 kids, basically that's going to be part of that 7-man rotation. Maybe 4. He might have had 4 there at times, but so it's kind of tough to play that kind of a schedule. But I did see a lot of good things, and Breathitt County was had 99% of their team, and Prestonsburg gave them all they wanted in that first half. It just at the end of the day it got away, and when you're missing 3 of your rotation, it's going to be hard to knock off a team like Breathitt County, but they still put themselves in position where they could have.
Yeah, really close there to the last 3 or 4 minutes. I think the scoring ability. If you find me a more complete score in the 15th region than Keathley as a freshman, Darryl. 8th grader going to 9th grade. I mean, listen, he's as good at any area on the floor, just like Spurlock. We talked about Spurlock. Yeah. Spurlock can score from a variety of ways. Same thing with Keathley. But who we miss throughout the year, summer, all district performer, Connor Napier. All district.
Yeah, he's Connor Napier. He's second best big in that 2025 class. Third now that E.B. Walters has raised his game, but that's saying a lot. And then you're possibly without Mason Stidham and Caden Allen, who you don't know if he's going to play or not. So but to their credit, they've had a kid like Caden Aaron who stepped up and played big minutes for them. Did they play? Trying to think. Did Prestonsburg play Lawrence County?
No.
Okay. Becky says somebody won by 4 without Bloomfield and Markham. Who are you talking about?
That's talking about when they both played East Carter. Prestonsburg was without Connor Napier and maybe a few guys as well. But Lawrence beat East Carter by 4. Prestonsburg beat East Carter by 4. Am I right?
Yeah, I think that was a situation, and they. But it's a situation like you see that district there. You got Hayden Perry, you got Braxton Keathley. You got a load of young talent. You got veterans in that district. That district has everything that you want. You got great coaches, everything you want to be a fun district, And as you can see, the Mike Howard, I can promise you one thing, Betsy Lane fans, Mike Howard, these officials, they mind their P's and Q's when Mike Howard's around.
You better believe it. And listen, he knows them. And Mike Howard, no nonsense. he's going to get the job done, and he's going to get that Betsy Lane ship exactly where he wants it, one way or the other. You either jump on or you jump off. That's Mike Howard. He's going to get it done.
Yeah, that's and that's the other thing. I forgot about Markham not being in for Lawrence County, so they was missing a couple of their pieces. Yeah, so I mean that's it's going to be very fun, and then Betsy Lane in the Mike Howard era. Betsy Lane has a 5 as good as anybody, but wonder what they, when they go to the bench, it's going to be interesting to see, how they fix that issue. I tell you, a kid that I really like that I knew nothing about, but this summer he impressed me, for them to even be able to play him, and I thought he produced well, is that Combs kid, the big kid for him.
The big kid out of nowhere, another 8th grader that was nowhere to be found on those 8th grade rankings, and he has came out of nowhere. I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, if Combs continues to condition, continues to evolve footwork, I promise you by his sophomore, junior year, he's going to be a big-time problem for teams in the 58th district.
Now, Coach, moving over to the 59th, it's going to be very interesting because, it's Pikeville's district to lose. And then, I still think Shelby Valley is deeper than any team in the region. I mean, they probably got 20 kids
guard-wise,
that could play, other places. And then, now that they've dropped Jenkins, now Jenkins is a team that's impressed us, but they're in that 14th region now. But going back to that, Jackson Keene and Eastridge, they had a couple games where, they shocked a lot of people, playing a lot of good teams close, got a couple big wins, had this big play. Show us play real quick here, Coach. It's at the main bottom, the Jackson Keene. I mean, Coach, when you take a look at Jackson Keene, maybe the play of the summer there with that crossover, I just think the 59th is going to be a little tougher than what people think. I do think it's Pikeville's, and Pikeville will own it, but don't sleep on Shelby Valley.
No, don't sleep on Shelby Valley. I think they're going to be right there in the hunt for you never know, Final Four in the 15th region. They're that good. Like you said, they've got enough pieces to where they can figure it out as the season goes along. That's the great thing about them. Whereas, use a Prestonburg's analogy. Prestonburg, you lose 1-2 guys, brother, and it becomes really hard to fill the holes. Shelby Valley, they can lose 1-2-3 guys, and they can just plug them back in. So they're going to be a team to contend with. East Ridge, Darryl, I was talking to somebody.
I think they're better than people. They're going to be better than people think. But I don't know that they've got the pieces to compete in that district.
That's what I think. The pieces.
And then going back, I know earlier, we was talking Johnson Central. I think is going to be very young.
Very young.
They. I worry about them. They got a couple young studs, but I worry how they are at the end with their youth. But when you got Tommy McKenzie, you know what you got. You got a chance.
Got a chance.
I do think Paintsville's going to be better than people think. I think they're young. I think they're going to play a lot of 8th graders. But I think that the Eli Stewart kid's going to be a big addition for them. He's going to be a scorer that can come and give them 20, 25 a game.
If you were picking, because this is two very similar teams, Paintsville probably goes a little deeper 8th grade wise. Paintsville, Johnson Central, who you got a head to head going?
Paintsville.
Really? Okay.
I think with Eli Stewart, I think you got him. I think Jace Kenner, he gives you a couple veterans that can score the basketball. It's tough. I hate to bet against Tommy McKenzie, but right now, if you just ask me if they played right now, and the big piece why I think that Paintsville is, one of the difference makers is Ethan Cole. I think his emergence last year, in a extremely talented 8th grade class, he might be the best of that class. And 2 years ago, people they'd have been like, who?
Right.
So that's a kid that I think is going to shock a lot of people this year is Ethan Cole.
Yeah, again, not a name that's been mentioned a lot throughout the years, but certainly improved throughout that year.
Yeah, that absolutely, and and then going in the 60th district, I think that's Pike Central's to lose. But Belfry and Phelps, I think both of them are going to be really young. Tyler Weddington, by the way, transferring to Phelps, so he'll be playing with Cameron Smith, Knox Wallace, and that group. And then over at Belfry, I know they was thin this summer; they was missing a few pieces. But if McCaden Maynard plays for Belfry, I think that he could be the piece that gives Belfry the edge over Phelps, and of course you got Zaid Rash.
Well, Zaid Rash, who we've said all along, you can throw every 8th grader, he's always going to be right at the top of that list. Listen, I at first hearing you, this is who's going to be here, this is going to be here, but then you lose an Aiden Burke, you lose a Tyler Weddington, maybe a couple of guys hasn't necessarily continue to evolve, but you do got
the Varney boys.
You got Varney's, you've got Zaid, and you've got Jude, right?
Yeah. You got Carter, Jude, you got Hagee.
Yeah.
You got the Hagee brothers.
They're going to be really young, though, and it may take them a year or so to get going, but don't count them out, because when you got Zaid Rash, I don't care what grade he's in.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a big piece in the 15th region next year.
Listen, if I'm them, I'm going and I'm knocking on McCaden Maynard's door and I'm begging him to come play.
Yeah.
I mean, this kid, he's a rim protector. He's the piece down low that could give Belfry an edge and can make Belfry a contender.
Right.
I mean, he could get them in a lot of ball games. They need McCaden Maynard to play on Pond Creek.
And you said something. Listen, it's Pike Central's, no doubt about it. Jaden Stewart, Jalen Rigdon, it's their last go-around together. And Jalen Rigdon's going to make the most of it. Here's the deal, though, and you nailed it. Jake Sloan, the addition from Prestonsburg. You've got Peyton Owens, who's going to be maybe the dark horse for Defensive Player of the Year. Dark horse. All right, he'll be in that top 5 or 6 mention. But offensively, they're going to have to figure some things out, because teams are starting to key in on Mr. Jalen Rigdon. And listen, as dynamic as Jalen is, you're going to have to find ways to get him open in the half-court game, because if not, guess what? You're going to have a long night, because he's really their primary handler.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely is. And, I think, I think Peyton Owens is going to continue to get better and be that piece that's going to help them down low. And, I really think Jake Sloan, at the end of the day, when he comes into his own, I think Pike Central is going to be a team that's going to be one of the top 3 to contend for the 15th region.
Right.
I mean,
and I think they agree there. I've talked to Coach Rigdon. I know you have too. I've talked to a couple of guys within that squad, and they say they're just trying to figure things out right now. Losing those pieces, though, didn't seem like, well, the sky's falling. But, yeah, when those are key components, you've got to figure it out and figure out what works and don't work. So they're trying to figure some things out with a new rotation.
Can I say how much I love Eric Ratliff? If I've watching him coach, I'm telling you, I love the way the man coaches the game of basketball.
You told me that, Darryl. Boy, you're a big fan.
I am. The Jonathan Patrick says, "How do you rank the 57th basketball?" Said I might have missed it. My internet cut out. 57th, I think it's Martin County, McGoffin County, Paintsville, Johnson Central.
I would probably flip Johnson Central above Paintsville.
Okay, so we're near agreement there, and the thing is, when you got Aiden Barnett, you got a chance.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Aiden Barnett's a kid that he can give you 40.
Yeah.
I mean, he's that kid.
Yeah, right.
So definitely interesting. I do think that Martin County, their 2 wings with McKenzie and Hill, will make them, very hard to beat and very, very hard to overturn in that district.
Right.
And I know on the girls' side, we didn't mention a while ago, we was talking about the 60th. Pike Central, they lost a lot. Yeah. But I tell you what, they got Bobby Joe Spears, and they got Coach Gearhart there. Yeah. I really like what them 2 do. I think they got a great backcourt returning. I think that Pike Central on the girls' side, the district will go through Pike Central. And then I'm telling you, Justin McCoy and Callie McCoy, that father-daughter duo there, don't sleep on them knocking Belfry out as that team in the region, even with Jenna Sparks.
I agree. They could be that team, that sleeper team, another sleeper team in the 15th region on the girls' side that could find their way to the Expo Center.
Yeah, absolutely. And Callie McCoy, she could be a girl that's a top 3, top 5 scorer in the 15th region.
Wow.
And then on the other hand, did you happen to see Kiara Thornsberry hit that buzzer beater in that Best of Maryland tournament? I mean, that team right now, Trinity Road just picked up an offer from UAB. Them two right there, it's going to be hard to find a better duo in the state of Kentucky than Thornsberry and Rowe.
Very difficult. One thing's for certain is those two kids love each other like they're sisters, and that goes a lot, and it carries a lot of weight, not only off the floor, but on the court, and it shows.
It absolutely does. Guys, it is 10-10, Coach. So we are winding down. Listen, guys, we got – I tell you what, let's take one commercial break, and then we'll come back with our I want to do a fast break. Yeah. Guys, you don't want to miss this because we're going to be we got an extra bonus segment coming up in just a second. If you're wanting to guarantee your loved ones took care of after their passing, come to Nelson Frazier Funeral Home in Martin, Kentucky. At Nelson Frazier, we guarantee that you can grieve in peace and not have to worry about the financial stressors of paying for a high-cost funeral. Nelson Frazier Funeral Home. Our family, caring for your family. Huff Drug is now open. If you're looking for somebody to take care of all your pharmaceutical needs, we are your guy. Huff Drug accepting new patients and most insurances. We have a drive-through for your convenience. If you want a pharmacy that not only cares about you, but your community, come see us at Huff Drug, located at the foot of Walmart Hill in Prestonsburg, Kentucky.
If you're looking for a great selection and a great experience for your next Harley-Davidson, come on down to Mountain State Harley-Davidson here in Del Barton, West Virginia.
We have new 2023 models in stock and ready for delivery. Special financing available.
Or choose pre-owned with one of the largest inventories in the tri-state area with great low prices.
Visit our showroom filled with licensed Harley-Davidson apparel and more.
Don't write that check until you check with us, Mountain State Harley-Davidson, 61 Priest Bottom Road, or visit us online at mountainstatehd.com.
All right, guys, we are back here. Coach, we're talking a little bit about vacation. I'm headed on vacation on Friday, and I've gave strict orders. Nobody's to call me.
Man.
Yeah, nobody.
10 days.
That's
phone goes dead.
Yeah.
Right.
The
dead period for you.
Yeah.
D&D Sports Network.
There it is.
No, D&D's keeping it rolling.
Yeah. We obviously, and believe it or not, every year we get so much news that's broke when I'm gone on vacation, so it's hard. But I do hope I can kind of turn it off, get away, and recharge, because it's been a stressful year on me. So we got our guy Irvin Stepp tuning in, one of the legends. Mike Perry says LC beat East Carter by 20 some and played everybody on the team. Irvin Stepp says, what's up, guys? Long time no see. Listen, Irvin, he comes and sits courtside with us at the 15th region tournament, and Irvin is a dear friend of mine. He made my mom's prosthetic leg. He made her a prosthetic University of UK Wildcat leg.
Right.
So Irvin is he's like family. I love Irvin to death, and glad you're tuning in, Irvin. Hope you're doing well. As we was going, I want to go over some rule changes real quick, Coach. In college basketball, the flops are now technicals.
Yeah, I love it, because they're moving more towards what I want in the game. It was, listen, you jumping in front of a defender, you're getting guys hurt. I want that T called, Darryl McCoy. So I love that the flop's going to be called a technical.
Yeah, I don't like flops. Block charge is going to be called a little different. You got to give the man room to come down. You can't just slide under him.
I love it.
Yeah. The other thing, 5 fouls every quarter. That's in high school. They're going to reset the foul count at the end of every quarter. You get 5 personals instead of 7 and then a bonus. I'm kind of torn here because I like the bonus.
Right.
I think you reward kids, and I'm sad that the bonus is going away.
What's going to benefit is teams with really good free throw shooters, because if they do, for whatever reason, they don't make that first one. Guess what? If you're at 80%, you're going to knock that second one down. So it's going to benefit teams that are really good free throw shooting teams.
Yep. The under 2 minutes, when a coach requests out of bounds play to be reviewed, they will lose a timeout if the call isn't overturned.
Yeah.
So, the airborne players can call a timeout now. So if you're diving out of bounds, you can call a timeout.
Right. Well, kind of going back old school, they would used to allow that. You diving out of bounds, boom, you get that timeout.
Flagrant foul can be called back.
Can be reviewed
and called back.
I like that. I like that.
I do too. I mean, sometimes official overreacts, and you don't want it to ruin the game if it ain't got to.
Right.
If you can fix a situation, fix it. Let's see. Players. 3 flagrants get you kicked out.
Well, I mean, listen, you get 3 flagrant fouls, brother. You should probably be.
Yeah, you should be.
Yeah, you should be kicked out.
And one of the things that I like, one of the smallest changes, but one of the ones I like, is players can now wear 0 to 99.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they can wear
a Luka Doncic 7-7.
Yeah, 7-7.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman 99.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, so I like it. Or 98.
Yeah.
So I do. I like it. I think it allows players to be a little more outgoing and be themselves. But it will be odd and be hard to get used to, though.
Yeah, definitely. But I like it overall.
Yeah, I do too. I think that's I like them changes 100%. We've talked everything from UK basketball. We've talked submarines. We've talked a little bit of everything, Coach. But this summer, when you look back on this summer here, what's the biggest takeaway or the biggest move that you've seen all summer long in hoops?
Hoops in general?
Yeah. Or let's go high school. Let's stick around here.
The biggest?
Or let's go local basketball.
Okay, local basketball. I think the biggest thing for me, it also has maybe things that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Things that could have happened. Maybe coaching positions that could have, playing what is it called, musical chairs.
Yeah.
Maybe moves that ended not happening for coaches or coaches.
I like that. I know where you're going with it, and I think that's huge. I think the biggest news of the summer, maybe coming in hoops, is Kelly Wells going to Morehead State. Yeah. I think that's a big hit to UPike and the city of Pikeville and our community. Anytime you lose a guy like Kelly Wells, you're taking a hit.
I've known Kelly for 25 years, and I signed 3 or 4 of his guys my second year coaching on the college level when he coached at Mason County, and then we just kept the relationship ever since then. When I was at the Miners and he was at Pike, I spoke at his coaching clinics there.
Yeah.
So I've known Kelly for a long, long time, and he's going to be missed here. But you better believe one thing, and I could tell you from experience because I was at Morehead unofficially for about a total of 9 months. Okay, they got to have dollars coming into that university. You listen. You hear Morehead State Division I OVC, they got to have money, ladies and gentlemen. One thing Kelly Wells is going to do, he's going to generate dollars for that athletic program.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Lewis Ratliff says they need a shot clock in high school basketball. No, I am not for that, Coach. What's your thoughts?
Oh, I want one. Well, bring it on.
No. I don't like it because it gets rid of the upsets. You know, I don't know. With a shot clock, could you ever see? Yeah, I mean, that's one of the big things is a mountain team can knock off a team from downstate. You know, if they come and they play the game the right way.
Right.
You know, I mean, if they, for instance, back in the day, they always called it birch ball. Mike Smith, he would hold the ball. You get a lead. If you had a 17-13 lead, Birch, they was going to hold the ball the rest of the game.
Right.
So, I don't know. I'm just not I think high school, you leave it the way it is, leave it pure. I understand, it gets kids, ready, used to the next level, and I do understand, games, it speeds the game up a little bit. But, I'm the type, I've had enough of the game speeding up. I want it to go back to the old physical banging, slow it down a little bit. Let's slow it down.
Right, yeah.
So D&D Mountain Elite will kick off their July tour in Rock Hill, North Carolina. South Carolina, whenever they go and play. I think it's July 15th, 16th. Mm-hmm. And, I kind of like the squad that we put together. It's Ethan Farrell, Matt Hatfield, Jackson Estridge. You've had Saki.
Yeah.
You've had E.B. Walters.
Yeah.
Trying to think who miss. Connor Napier's on it. Peyton Davis.
Caden Aaron.
Yeah, Caden Aaron. Yeah. Has played on it. Yeah, he won't be with us for the July run. Yeah. But he's part of it. He's part of the family. I don't know. Joey Gollihue and Braden Ferris played during the summer with us. I don't know whether they'll be back or not. Trying to think, Coach. I know I don't want to leave anybody out here. So
you mentioned Jake Sloan.
Yeah, Jake. Yeah. Jake's been one of the biggest pieces.
Yeah.
He's really flourished, and I think it's helped him tremendously in high school basketball. Yeah. Is his, because it's made him comfortable.
Right.
So, and I hope I'm not forgetting anyone, which I know I'll end up forgetting one of them. But it's been a very pleasurable experience for me. It's been great for the brand, and in return, it's been great for the kids, because we've got a lot of people that's reach out and that's ask about our kids. Yeah. So at the end of the day, we're accomplishing what we wanted to accomplish, and that's getting our kids noticed.
Absolutely, that's what it's about. The platform, giving kids a chance to shine and showcase their talents to be able to play at the next level.
Oh, we got a young 7th grader, Coda Dalton. I forgot about Coda, who has played with us. So I think that this is a team. I think we may add one or two more that, particularly one top 20-25 kid in the region, I think, could be with us. Don't want to announce it yet until we find out for sure. But, this team is, at the end of the day, it's become one of the top local programs. Yeah. And, I hope everybody gets out and really follows this and backs these kids, because they're out there and they wear a lot of pride when they represent the mountains.
Absolutely. This is the stretch run for AAU, hitting hard this weekend on through July. So D&D Sports Elite will be there, all these other local teams. So you want to tune in to D&D Sports Network, because pretty much D&D is the only place you're going to find a wrap-up, or you're going to find the rundown on the Ken Wertz's teams, on the AOEs, on the D&D Mountain Elite. Whatever, Braxton's going to be at the Peach Jam next weekend. Yep. So you're going to find out what all these kids are up to, and the only place to do it's the D&D Sports Network.
Yeah, and they got a kid at they got a program over there, Team Venom, Ethan Cummings run. That's a really nice program. Got Hunter Hilton on that squad, and we forgot about mentioning him when we mentioned Belfry will go.
Right.
So it's a situation. And listen, D&D Mountain Elite, we couldn't make it happen without people like Ashley Dalton, like Coach Sean Farrell, Coach Brian Hatfield, and obviously the team parents, which is Christy Farrell, Mike and Kelly Sloan, Brianna, And one of the organizers that helped organize it, Billy Davis, he's one of the team owners. So, we couldn't do it without them folks. So we definitely are excited about this July run. Excited to get Peyton Davis back, and hopefully Connor Napier. We get good news, but either way, I don't think you'll see him the rest of the summer.
I don't think so.
No. So, guys. As we're sitting here, Coach, I don't know, make sure there ain't any other questions that come in.
While you're checking that, Darryl, Season 4 coming to a conclusion. When we return, Season 5 of the grind session. Can you believe that, ladies and gentlemen? 5 seasons of the grind session. We've been doing it, and we've been doing it like nobody else.
Yeah, and in the meantime, guys, as we're sitting here, we'll be bringing up Crunch Time soon with me and David as the football show getting started. But we want to take and ask everybody, go follow D_D Sports on TikTok. And then Coach Keathley, I don't know your
TikTok. I think it's just Coach K.
Yeah, Coach K on TikTok. Guys, we're wanting to get it so we can bring you 24/7 hoop show. We'll be on all the time, but we got to get Coach's followers up to 1,000. As we're still new to this TikTok thing. But guys, help him get up to 1,000 so we can get that show underway. And Crunch Time will be coming up soon. But we got a lot of basketball still in the month of July. When I get back from vacation, we'll be doing, football will be kicking off full time, but we'll also have a lot of basketball throughout that month. And then once August starts, it's football for the next, 5 months, and then before basketball season starts. So guys, make sure you continue following D&D Sports on all social media sites, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, our website, dndsports.com, and more for all the latest sporting news from around the mountains and surrounding areas. Guys, Kevin Keathley, Darryl McCoy, Jason Norman, till next time, so long and good night.